Chapter 130 Divine Kingdom Level Soldier Type. Soul Reaper Recruitment Book. Zhou frowned slightly when he saw their introduction. It could actually harvest the souls of living beings after death? He felt a little afraid. He still knew very little about the soul even though he had a lot of abilities now. It was not an exaggeration to say that it was his blind spot. He thought for a moment and began to communicate with Nazario in the sky. He told it the abilities of these kobolds, asking if it could resolve it. Nazario gave an affirmative answer without hesitation. After Zhou found out, he did not hesitate and asked Nazario to deal with it. According to Wuxia's map, this kobold tribe only had more than 300 kobolds, and the strongest was only a white silver tier advanced grade kobold high priest. Dealing with them was not a problem at all for Nazario. They bided their time and enjoyed Nazario's performance. When the 14-meter-tall Nazario swooped down on the kobold tribe and spat out magma dragon breath, Lu Rui and the others were immediately stunned. Dragon race? And it's a pure-blooded dragon? The other soldiers could not help but smile when they saw these people behave like this. At the same time, the kobold tribe high priest also walked out of a simple temple. Its eyes immediately widened when it saw Nazario spewing magma dragon breath in the sky, turning the entire kobold tribe into a sea of fire. However, its anger was useless against the current situation. It could only watch as the kobolds died one after another, screaming their lungs out. Then, the souls of the kobolds wrapped in a black death aura flew out of the corpses. After these kobold souls emerged, they rushed towards Nazario in the sky. However, Nazario needed only to release its dragon might, and the souls of these kobolds collapsed and dissipated in the air. A moment later, Nazario grabbed the unconscious kobold high priest and came in front of Zhou. Zhou looked at it. Name: Kobold Tribe High Priest or Strength Level. White Silver Tier Advanced Grade Introduction. The High Priest of the Kobold Tribe, a fanatic of the God of Death. It is in charge of the war and sacrificial matters of the Kobold Tribe. There is a weak wisp of the power of the Soul Reaper, a divine kingdom-level soldier type, left in its body. Loot: 8 white silver tier mist cores. Drop rate: 100%. 1 white silver tier advanced grade skill book. Healing technique. Drop rate: 5%. 1 faith divine crystal for the zealots. Drop rate: 1%. 1 growable racial talent sphere. Drop rate: 0.0000001%. 1 white silver tier advanced grade soul reaper recruitment book. Drop rate: 0.000000001%. 4 black iron tier lord talent crystal fragments. Drop rate: 0%. Zhou's eyes widened as he looked at the drop rate of the soul reaper recruitment book. Good God! A 1 in 100 billion drop rate. This was the first time he had seen such a low drop rate other than items related to the lord talents. However, if this Soul Reaper was really a Divine Kingdom-level soldier type, then its drop rate was understandable. After Zhou came back to his senses, he did not kill it immediately. Instead, he used his mental perception skill to sense the other party's thoughts. He got to know why it had sent troops to attack his desolate city. This Kobold High Priest had already regarded the entire desolate Gobi as the territory of the kobolds after living here for a long time even though they did not conquer it. Originally it had fought with cunts. Later on, the news of the change of ownership of the desolate city reached the ears of the High Priest. This High Priest wanted to test the strength of the new owner of the desolate city. Therefore it sent some kobolds to test the waters. Later on it realized that it could not afford to offend them, so it retreated. Originally, its idea was to rely on their ability to harvest souls after death, and it would not be a big problem even if it provoked this new owner of the desolate city. However, the High Priest never expected that this new master actually had a pure-blooded dragon under his command. Their souls could not even approach Nazario's dragon soul before they were directly killed by the dragon's might. It ended up like this as a result. Zhou shook his head. He no longer had any doubts. This was the war between the lords. Not only did he have to be prepared to be attacked at any time, but he also had to be prepared to be killed by the enemy. He asked Nazario to kill the Kobold High Priest. Soon, its soul emerged from its corpse and pounced at Zhou with a ferocious expression. But in the next second, it was shattered by long-awaited Nazario's dragon might. This time Zhou saw its death notification. Seeing this, he placed his hand on it and extracted the other party's loot. Lord Talent notification. Your loots have been enhanced by the King of Loots. Perfect loots. Grade +1. Lord Talent hint. You have obtained perfect loots 2 mist cores yellow gold tier, 1 skill book, healing technique yellow gold tier advanced grade, 1 Holy Spirit Faith Divine Crystal, 1 Racial Talent Sphere Growable, 1 Soul Reaper Recruitment Book yellow gold tier advanced grade, 4 Lord Talent Crystal Fragments. Zhou checked the loot. There was no need to mention the yellow gold tier mist cores. He looked at the other loot. Skill name. Healing technique. Skill quality. Yellow gold tier advanced grade. Skill description. Convert the energy in your body into life force. It can be used to recover your main bonus injuries or released to other living beings to recover the injuries of other living beings. It can heal any injuries up to yellow gold tier advanced grade. It also has a certain healing and recovery effect on higher level injuries. Item name. Holy Spirit Faith Divine Crystal. Item level. Holy Spirit tier, Shallow Faith tier, True Faith tier, Pious tier, Fanatic tier, Holy Spirit tier. Item effect. A crystal condensed from the full faith of a Holy Spirit tier. It contains the rich and pure Holy Spirit level power of faith. Item description. A favorite item of the God Spirits. It can help God Spirits increase their strength and trade as their currency. Prompt. You might obtain unexpected gains if you dedicate it to the God Spirits in God Spirit buildings. Treasure name. Racial Talent Sphere God of Death's Blessing. Treasure grade. Enhanceable. Treasure effect. After using it, the living being will have the talent to fight the final battle on the soul level with the living being that killed it after death. The living being's soul will enter the embrace of Thanatos and become his God of Death believer no matter whether he wins or loses. Treasure description. A racial talent that only kobolds who believe in the God of Death have. You will receive the blessing of the God of Death Thanatos, but you will also have to pay the price if you use it. Item name. Soul Reaper Recruitment Book. Item level. Yellow Gold Tier Advanced Grade Item Effect. Divine Kingdom Tier Soldier Recruitment Book. Throw it into the Gate of Summoning, and you can summon a Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade Soul Reaper with Yellow Gold Tier Advanced Grade potential to become your subject. Item description. The Divine Kingdom Tier Soldier type under Thanatos, the God of Death. It had terrified countless God spirits at its peak. Chapter 131 God of Death's Reward. Death Immunity Scroll. Zhou looked at the loots. The healing technique was a yellow gold tier advanced grade skill. He was only at green bronze tier advanced grade now and could not learn it for the time being. As for the Holy Spirit's Faith Divine Crystal, its introduction looked quite interesting. He saw a simple temple in the Kobold tribe just now. He could bring this into it and give it a try later. As for the Kobold tribe's God of Death blessing race talent, it was not practical. Moreover, he would be targeted by Thanatos once he mastered it. Zhou was still very weak and did not want to be related to such an existence for the time being, so he would not learn it. The final Soul Reaper recruitment book was the loot that confused Zhou the most. Good God! It was really a Divine Kingdom tier soldier type. Unfortunately, there's only one Divine Kingdom tier soldier recruitment book. If only these kobolds were fog monsters, then I can put them in the monster ranch and constantly produce Divine Kingdom tier recruitment books. Zhou looked at the Soul Reaper recruitment book for a long time before thinking regretfully. The kobolds were natives of the High Continent. They naturally could not be placed in the monster ranches. However, Zhou was still quite happy to obtain a Divine Kingdom tier soldier. He had originally thought that he was only here to deal with this enemy who had provoked him. He did not expect to obtain any useful loot from the kobolds. The final green bronze tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragment was also something that he wanted very much. He could upgrade his rebellion talent when he returned with these 4 green bronze tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments. Then, Zhou took out a Conqueror's Blast Furnaces and asked the soldiers to retrieve the loot from the 300-odd kobold corpses. He came to this simple temple and saw the stone statue of Thanatos, the God of Death, worshipped inside. Then he froze. This was because Thanatos' image was actually similar to the kobolds. However, it was taller and more dignified, and the clothes it wore were more simple and mysterious. The death sigh that held in both hands was more intimidating. In front of the death god statue was a circular black altar. When Zhou saw this, he walked over and placed the Holy Spirit Faith Divine Crystal on the altar. "I'm willing to offer this Holy Spirit Tier Faith Divine Crystal to His Excellency the God of Death," he said respectfully. Zhou did not dare to do anything to challenge the other party's dignity facing a god spirit, especially the god in charge of death. The temple was still calm after a long time. "It's been a long time since I've seen such a good quality Faith Divine Crystal." A deep voice suddenly sounded in his mind just as Zhou thought that his sacrifice was useless. "Greetings, God of Death." Zhou was shocked, then said even more respectfully, "A little Lord of the Supreme Will. I'm very satisfied with your offering. If you obtain more Holy Spirit Tier Faith Divine Crystals in the future, you can send them to me. I will give you more rewards." It did not mention anything else after that. Zhou waited for a long time, but the God of Death had no intention of talking to him again. He could not help but look up at the stone statue of the God of Death after realizing that there was still no sound. Then he was stunned. After becoming a chaos human, Zhou's memory and observation skills were already very good. Therefore, in his eyes, the gaze of the stone statue of the God of Death was clearly more satisfied than before. Others might not be able to tell the difference. However, Zhou could tell with his powerful observation skills. He realized that the Holy Spirit's Faith Divine Crystal had already disappeared when he looked at the altar again. In its place was a scroll. Zhou walked over and picked it up to take a look. This scroll was completely black and depicted the back of Thanatos. Treasure name: Death Immunity Scroll. Treasure grade: Epic Tier Advanced Grade Treasure Effect. When a living being suffers injuries that are fatal, using this scroll can immediately restore your state to its peak state before being injured. Treasure description: a mystical item created by the god of death Thanatos with the power of the law of death. It can allow the person who obtains it to be immune to a death crisis once. Prompt: it is ineffective against injuries at God tier level and above. Zhou's mouth fell open. A Holy Spirit Tier Faith Divine Crystal was actually exchanged for an epic tier treasure from the God of Death? Moreover, it was a life-saving item with such high practicality. Was this because the God of Death was very generous? Or was the Holy Spirit Faith Divine Crystal really that precious? Zhou thought in confusion. However, he then threw this doubt to the back of his mind. No matter how good the Holy Spirit Faith Divine Crystal was, it was still trash to him who did not know how to use it. Moreover, this Death Immunity Scroll was a treasure that could really save his life. Then, the items in front of him were naturally the best. He put it away happily and bowed respectfully to the stone statue of the God of Death before leaving. Not long after he left, even the Chaos Human has appeared. Lords have appeared in the Dragon World, the Abyss, the Divine World, the Netherworld, the Immortal World, and even outside the world. This Lord of all races competition is getting more and more interesting. A faint voice sounded. Then it disappeared again. Outside the temple. After Zhou came out, he found Wuxia and asked him to send a few people to stay here to guard this temple. Wuxia agreed without asking for a reason. Elder Wu, are you feeling restless because there has been no battle big enough for you to feel even a little motivated? Zhou looked at his calm expression and could not help but smile. Your lordship saw through me. Wuxia was stunned for a moment before nodding readily. Don't worry. We probably won't encounter a big battle like yesterday in a short period of time. But there's still a chance for you to test your skills, Elder Wu. Elder Wu, how about we take down this desolate Gobi today? Zhou said. He was no longer the same as before. It took him 6 days to conquer this Black Iron Tier territory in the Blazing Sun Desert. But now he, who had already increased his strength, wanted to see if he could take down this Black Iron Tier territory in a day. We can give it a try. We might not be able to return to Blazing Sun City today, Wuxia said in a deep voice. Then we'll stay in the desolate city. Zhou made a decision. The most important reason why he left this desolate city intact behind back then was to use it as a springboard to occupy the entire desolate Gobi territory. As for building it into a commercial city, it was just an afterthought. It was time to make it work. Yes, my lord, Wuxia said respectfully. Zhou acknowledged. Then, he brought people to the lord's courtyard here. After shattering the territory tablet, he obtained a green bronze tier advanced grade territory token. I can upgrade my territory when we get back, Zhou thought while looking at the territory token in his hand. 15 minutes later. More than 300 kobold corpses have all their loots extracted. Under the influence of the perfect loots, he obtained a total of 1,477 green bronze tier mist cores, 756 white silver tier mist cores, and 6 yellow gold tier mist cores. 321 soul roar skill books. Black iron tier, green bronze tier, white silver tier. 321 racial talent spheres. God of Death's blessing. Zhou took out a green bronze tier advanced grade book from the 321 soul roar skill books to learn. Skill name: Soul Roar. Skill quality: green bronze tier advanced grade. Skill description: concentrate your will and let out a soul-shocking roar at the enemy. There is a high chance of causing the enemy's soul to enter a dizzy state for enemies whose soul strength is lower than yours. There is also a small chance of causing the enemy's soul to be in a state of shock for enemies whose soul strength is higher than yours. After he finished learning, Bai Yi also found the basic resources and mist cores stored in the Kobold tribe. Other than that, he also found a blueprint of the Temple of Death. However, this blueprint was not recognized by the Supreme Will. It was only a design blueprint for a self-built building. Zhou did not mind and put it away. This kobold tribe was no longer of any value to them at this point. Zhou did not stay any longer. He left with the soldiers and rushed towards the first territory of the Scarlet Lord. Half an hour later, they first arrived at the territory of a black iron tier advanced grade Scarlet Lord. The lord of this scarlet territory was a yellow python leader with the strength of a green bronze tier elementary grade. It had about 400 to 500 yellow python monster subjects under its command. These monsters were naturally helpless against Zhou's 5,000-strong army and Nizario, a pure-blooded dragon. In less than 15 minutes, this Scarlet Lord's territory had completely fallen. All the yellow python monsters were killed. As for Zhou's soldiers, under the cover of the dragon might, there were not even any injured people. Under the influence of the perfect loots, Zhou obtained 6 green bronze tier lord talent crystal fragments and 2 origin crystals from the yellow python leader's corpse. He also obtained a black iron tier intermediate grade territory token from the lord's building. After that, Bai Yi led the soldiers and spent half an hour cleaning up the battlefield. Zhou let the soldiers rest for another half an hour after retrieving all the loot before rushing to the second Scarlet Lord's territory. In the desolate Gobi, there were a total of 3 Scarlet Lords with black iron tier territory, and 1 regional Scarlet Lord with green bronze tier territory. Zhou spent more than 3 hours dealing with the 3 Scarlet Lords who had black iron tier territory, before arriving at the last Scarlet Lord's territory. Regional level Scarlet Lord, the territory of the Golem Lord. The sky gradually darkened. In the desert, Zhou looked at the distant regional Scarlet Lord's territory. More than 4,000 golems were lingering here. They are made up of converging Gobi boulders. Each golem was 3 to 4 meters tall. According to the information on Wu Tu's map, these golems had extremely strong bodies and were fearless in battle. Moreover, they did not have souls in their bodies since they were not flesh and blood creatures. Even the dragon might did not restrict them much. It's a tough fight. However, I'll have 2 territories under my command as long as I deal with them, Zhou thought. Chapter 132 Hero Skill. Golden Dragon Break. Killing the Golem Lord. Zhou looked at the loots of the golems and lost interest. This was because there was only a skill book called Rock Armor other than the Mist Cores. It was similar to the loots of the previous 3 fog monsters, which were either skill books or ordinary equipment. Zhou's standards were also higher now with his 100% drop rate plus perfect loot. He was no longer interested in ordinary loot. He would only be interested in monsters that would drop special loot, such as soldier class change certificates, soldier recruitment books, building materials, and so on. This was because these monsters could be brought back to the monster ranch and become his daily fixed income. Its value naturally far exceeded that of ordinary monsters. It also made Zhou like it even more. He stopped thinking and turned to look at Wu Xian. Elder Wu, take down this regional Scarlet Lord's territory, he said. Yes, my lord, Elder Wu said respectfully. Then he rode on the dragon horse, his golden cloak fluttering in the desert wind. Soldiers! Charge with me! Kill! Wu Exine took the lead and rushed out accompanied by a furious roar. Kill! Kill them! Charge! 2,000 sword-shield soldiers and 1,000 Puteo soldiers followed Wu Exine and rushed out. The 2,000 soldiers left behind were all long-range soldiers. Most of them were poisonous crossbowmen, and the rest were archers, crossbowmen, and musketeers. They began to attack the golems from afar. Arrows streaked across the sky like meteors and shot at the 4,000 golems. Even though low-level long-range soldiers could not cause much damage to these sturdy golems, high-level long-range soldiers could shoot holes in their bodies. Especially the new musketeers. Zhou only received 18 beginner soldier recruitment books in the novice lord test. Therefore, there were only 18 of each beginner soldier type and only 18 musketeers. Even though they were few in number, the commotion they caused was the greatest among the entire army. Ear-piercing gunshots sounded. It was so loud that even the distant soldiers beside them could not help but take a few more glances at them. These musketeers might only be at the lowest Black Iron tier elementary grade. But the damage they caused was no less than the damage caused by Black Iron tier advanced grade archers as beginner soldiers. The only disadvantage was that they were slow to reload. Moreover, there was a limited amount of ammunition. Zhou was deep in thought when he saw this. Even though musketeers like them could make homemade gunpowder bullets, the efficiency was low after all, and the power might not be much stronger. Maybe I can find that military industry lord to see if I can buy some modern firearms from him. I can also replenish my ammunition from him in the future. Zhou thought. Even though these 18 musketeers were small in numbers, he would not give up any chance to become stronger. At the same time, Wu Exine also led his army to charge at the 4,000 golems. These golems also discovered the 3,000 soldiers rushing over. They roared fearlessly as they charged at Wu Exine and the others while enduring the attacks of bullets and arrows. Wu Exine looked at the charging golems. Golden flames gradually burned in his eyes. Roar! A true dragon roar sounded in his body. His body slowly enlarged until he was 4 to 5 meters tall. His armor also enlarged, matching his figure. A pair of golden dragon horns grew on his head. A thick golden dragon tail also grew out of his tailbone. Yellow gold tier advanced great bloodline skill. Dragon blood transformation. At this moment, Wu Exine had turned into a half-dragon. At the same time, the dragon horse under him also let out a dragon-like roar. Then, golden dragon scales appeared on the surface of its body. At the same time, its body expanded until it could carry Wu Exine on its back. Boom! Golden airwaves spread out with the half-dragon and dragon horse as the center, forming the phantom of a golden dragon head. The skin and pupils of the soldiers in the range of the golden wave also turned golden. Their strength, speed, physical defense, and will to fight had all increased greatly, and they all caught up to Wu Xin's speed. In the blink of an eye, they formed the winding figure of an eastern dragon. It charged at these golems with an unstoppable and magnificent aura. Hero skill Golden Dragon Break. Hero skill Golden Dragon Break. Level Special Skill Effect. The Dragon Horse Spear will activate its own Golden Dragon bloodline and human bloodline so that it transforms into a dragon. It will use the power of the Golden Dragon to stimulate and mobilize the all-round quality of the soldiers under its command. It will also give the soldiers some characteristics of the Golden Dragon bloodline, forming an unstoppable golden dragon on the battlefield. It will break through the enemy's formation and crush the enemy's will. At this moment, Wu Exine used the Diamond Tier Advanced Grade Army Formation, Furry Array and the Diamond Tier Advanced Grade Army Formation, Fire Array to increase the soldier's strength, speed, and will to fight by 15 times immediately. The sudden increase in combat strength made the Eastern Golden Dragon even more lifelike, and it even emitted a faint dragon pressure. This caused the charging aura of the 4,000-odd golems to stagnate. The Eastern Golden Dragon took advantage of this and instantly rushed into their formation, accompanied by a mighty roar. The golems were shattered one after another wherever it went. No golem could stop the Golden Dragon's charge. This Golden Dragon rushed from the front of the battlefield to the back of the battlefield and then to the front just like that. After 2 Golden Dragon breaks, more than 1,500 of these 4,000 golems died. Wuxia, who had used Golden Dragon Break twice, had not exhausted his remaining strength and was even maintaining his dragon blood transformation. However, the golden dragon gradually disappeared. His golden dragon eyes looked at the golems coldly. He felt that there was still about a third of the energy left in his body, and felt that he could use the golden dragon break again. However, he would probably enter a weak state after using it. As a wise and calm battlefield general, it was not what he wanted to see. Behind the battlefield, Nazario immediately raised its dragon head and looked at Wuxia when he used the dragon blood transformation. Its scarlet dragon eyes revealed a human-like puzzled expression when it saw a very different dragon from its own dragon race, arising from the golden dragon break. There seemed to be no record of a dragon in this strange form in its dragon bloodline inheritance. However, Zhou, who was beside it, was immediately stunned when he saw Wuxia use golden dragon break. Wasn't this their Eastern dragon? He originally thought that Wu Xin's golden dragon bloodline was a Western dragon bloodline like Nazario's. He did not expect it to be the bloodline of an Eastern dragon. After coming back to his senses, he looked at the puzzled Nazario beside him, and a sigh appeared on his face. An Eastern dragon and a Western dragon were gathered on the same battlefield. This could only be seen on a place like the High Continent where all races coexisted. Actually, speaking of which, it was similar to the inheritance of Eastern civilization. It also appeared in the talents of some lords of all races. For example, Zhou had heard that someone's lord talent was a yellow gold tier lord talent chi refiner when he was diving on the world channel once. Not only did he have a special physique, the spiritual root constitution, the subjects of his territory also had a small chance of awakening their spiritual root physique. Moreover, there was a chance of obtaining items from the immortal Dao civilization when hunting monsters. However, it was said that this lord never appeared on the world channel again. He could not even be added as a friend. The lords only knew that he was still alive, but no one knew where he was or what he was doing. This became one of the unsolved mysteries in the hearts of countless cerulean planet lords. That Chi Refiner Lord situation is similar to the Dragon God Lord and the Insect Lord. What happened to them? Why can't we contact them? Zhou frowned slightly. After thinking for a moment, he who had no clue did not think too much about it. Everyone had the same destination, where they would eventually meet. On the battlefield. After Wuxia used the Golden Dragon Break, Bai Yi also used her hero skill, Bloodfire Arrow Rain. She was already at White Silver Tier Elementary grade. The power of the Bloodfire Arrow Rain was even stronger than before. A wave of arrows killed nearly 2,000 golems. At this point, there were only about 500 golems left on the battlefield. This time, the golem lord, who wanted to be a coward, could not sit still anymore. It had always felt that an extremely terrifying aura was accumulating strength behind the battlefield. The golem lord felt that it could not defeat the other party, so it did not appear. It wanted to rely on these 4,000 golem subjects to make the other party retreat. Unexpectedly, the two heroes opposite it killed more than half of its golem subjects. This instantly stunned it. There was only one thought left in its mind. Run! Rumble! As the ground shook, a golem more than 20 meters tall crawled out from the ground. Then it balled up and rolled into the distance. The remaining 500 golems were stunned when they saw this. Why did your majesty surrender first when we are about to fight to the death? The soldiers were stunned for a moment before laughing heartlessly. At the back of the battlefield, Nazario had already spread its dragon wings and flew into the sky in pursuit without the need for Zhou to remind it. A moment later, a kill notification appeared in front of Zhou. Your pet lava dragon Nazario has killed the golem lord, Wan Shi, Scarlet Lord. Promotion energy plus 800. Loots condensed. The territory of the Scarlet Lord has become ownerless. You can plunder or occupy it. The Blazing Sun Desert has become an ownerless area. After you obtain the regional token, you can become the regional lord of this area. A smile appeared on Zhou's face. A moment later, Nazario grabbed the corpse of the golem lord and placed it in front of Zhou. He looked at the stone corpse. Its stone brain had already been burned to lava, and the other parts of its body had also been burned to charcoal. This regional Scarlet Lord's defense was second to none, but it was still not enough against the magma dragon breath of a pure-blooded dragon. A corpse notification appeared. Monster name: Golem Lord Wan Shur. Regional level Scarlet Lord. Strength level: White Silver Tier Advanced Grade. Monster description: the strongest Scarlet Lord in the desolate Gobi Desert. It controls the entire barren Gobi Desert and has many golem subjects under its command. Its physical defense is extremely strong, and it is not afraid of soul attacks. It can be said to be a tyrant in the desolate Gobi Desert. Loots: 20 White Silver Tier Mist Cores. Drop rate: 100%. 5 Origin Crystals. Drop rate: 100%. 1 White Silver Tier Advanced Grade Skill Book. Rock Armor. Drop rate: 5%. 1 White Silver Tier Advanced Grade Skill Book. Summon Golem Leader. Drop rate: 2%. 1 White Silver Tier Advanced Grade Alchemy Technology Product Blueprint Mist Energy Cannon. Drop rate: 1%. 5 Black Iron Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments. Drop rate: 0%. Chapter 133 Mist Energy Cannon. Desolate Gobi Region Token. Mist Energy Cannon? Zhou raised his eyebrows. He didn't think too much about it. He chose to extract it directly. Lord Talent Notification: your loots have been enhanced by the King of Loots. Perfect Loots. Grade +1. Lord Talent Hint: you have obtained Perfect Loots 20 units of Mist Cores Yellow Gold Tier. 1 Skill Book. Rock Armor Yellow Gold Tier Advanced Grade. 1 Skill Book. Summon Golem Lord Yellow Gold Tier Advanced Grade. 1 Alchemy Technology Product Blueprint Mist Energy Cannon Yellow Gold Tier Advanced Grade. 5 Lord Talent Crystal Fragments. The next second, the Golem Lord's corpse became a loot. Zhou put away the 20 Yellow Gold Tier Mist Cores first and looked at the other loots. As the name suggested, Rock Armor was a skill that formed a layer of rock armor on the surface of the body to defend against external attacks. While Summon Golem Lord was to summon a White Silver Tier Advanced Grade Golem Lord, not the Scarlet Lord, to fight for him. Zhou could not learn them for the time being as they were both Yellow Gold Tier Advanced Grade skills. He could only put them away for the time being. Then, he looked at the Alchemy Technology Product Blueprint. This was the first time Zhou had obtained a new Alchemy Technology Product Blueprint. Alchemy Technology Product Blueprint. Mist Energy Cannon Grade. Yellow Gold Tier Advanced Grade. Product Effect: it can fire cannonballs with huge power with mist cores as the core energy source. Its furthest range is 5,000 meters. It is often used to kill giant creatures with powerful vitality, attack strength and naval battles. Product description: one of the most famous products of alchemy technology. It is extremely powerful on the battlefield and is often widely used by the major countries of the high continent in war. Learning requirement: can only be learned by alchemy technicians. Zhou's eyes lit up. The Mist Energy Cannon Product Blueprint came at the right time. The official Lord War had already begun. Siege battles would definitely not be rare in the war that will follow. The Mist Energy Cannon would be able to shine then. They would have probably lost a huge number of troops when capturing Kunt City previously if not for the safe passage provided by Zhang Kaishan, and without Nazario taking action. However, everything would become simple with this Mist Energy Cannon. He frowned again in no time. The grade of this Mist Energy Cannon is too high. Ashburn had just broken through to the Green Bronze Tier Elementary grade the last time I saw him. He shouldn't be at the Yellow Gold Tier Advanced grade yet. I don't think he can learn how to make the Mist Energy Cannon. Then who can I get to learn this Mist Energy Cannon blueprint? He muttered. After thinking for a moment, Zhou, who still had no choice, could only put away the blueprint first. He could only take it out in the future when he had the chance to use it. The last 5 Green Bronze Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments also made him smile. Previously, he had fought the Scarlet Lords in the 3 Black Iron Tier territories, and obtained a total of 13 Green Bronze Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments and 4 Origin Crystals. Now, he had obtained a total of 9 Origin Crystals coupled with the loots dropped by the Golem Lord. He now had 29 Green Bronze Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments, which was enough to upgrade 2 Black Iron Tier Lord Talents. However, he would only upgrade his Insight Defection talent, not his Return to City talent. After that, he would accumulate another White Silver Tier Lord Talent Origin Divine Crystal, and upgrade it to the White Silver Tier or even higher. If possible, he wanted to see the effect of upgrading the Insight Defection talent to the mythical stage. A moment later, the remaining 500 golems on the battlefield were dealt with by the soldiers. Then, the soldiers began to clean up the battlefield. At the same time, Zhou took out 5 Conqueror's blast furnace to extract the more than 4,000 golem corpses. A moment later, "My lord, I've found the territory token tablet." Bai quickly walked over and reported respectfully. "Take me there." Zhou immediately said, "Yes, please follow me, my lord." After Bai finished speaking, she brought Zhou into the territory of the golems. After walking for a while, Zhou and Bai found it on a ground filled with shattered rocks. "We did not find this territory tablet at the beginning. In the end, I asked Lord Nazario and found out that the territory tablet was completely wrapped up by these golems with gobi rocks. We only found this territory tablet after shattering the rocks wrapped outside." Bai said respectfully. Zhou acknowledged. "They are quite good at hiding it." Then, he asked Bai to shatter this territory stone tablet with 100,000 durability. The territory stone tablet shattered with a bang, revealing the 2 tokens inside under Bai's 5 fire vine arrows. One of them was a green bronze tier advanced grade territory token. The other token was the regional token of the desolate Gobi Desert. On the front was the word region, and on the back were the words, Desolate Gobi. After Zhou put away the territory token, he immediately picked up this regional token. A text notification appeared. Treasure name, regional token area name, Desolate Gobi changeable, regional grade, Black Iron Tier region area. About 611 square kilometers. Treasure description. Regional token of the Blazing Sun Desert. The lord who possesses the regional token and fuses it with the territory stone tablet can become the regional lord of the Blazing Sun Desert and obtain a regional exclusive treasure chest. I can completely control the entire Desolate Gobi if I were to just integrate it into my territory tablet. I will have 2 regional territories then. Zhou thought expectantly. Then he left with Bai. More than half an hour later, all the loots of the golems had been extracted. Under the effect of the perfect loot, he obtained a total of 15,064 green bronze tier mist cores, 5,894 white silver tier mist cores, 784 yellow gold tier mist cores, 4,106 rock armor skill books, green bronze tier, white silver tier, yellow gold tier, 1,842 white silver tier, summon golem elite, 112 yellow gold tier, summon golem leader. Other than that, Bai also found a total of 420,000 units of basic resources, and a small number of mist cores and ordinary building blueprints after her troops searched this scarlet territory. At this point, this territory of the golems was worthless to Zhou. It was getting late. Zhou did not want to stay here, so he directly led the soldiers to the desolate city. It only took 15 minutes for Zhou and the others to arrive at the desolate city since they marched rapidly. Zhang Kaishan and his brother, who had long received the news, were pleasantly surprised that the Lord had actually taken down the desolate Gobi. They hurriedly brought people out to welcome him from outside the city. They immediately bowed happily when they saw Zhou and the others arrive. "Congratulations on your victorious return, my lord." Zhou nodded and was welcomed into the Lord's courtyard. In the Lord's courtyard, Zhang Kaishan and his brother were guarding the door. Zhou was sitting at a table in the house. There were 10 green bronze tier Lord Talent crystal fragments on this table. Zhou looked at them and prepared to upgrade his insight defection talent. Chapter 134 Green Bronze Tier Insight Defection. 3 talents attracted by the reputation rating. Zhou looked at them. Soon, a line of golden words slowly appeared. 10 green bronze tier Lord Talent crystal fragments discovered. Do you want to fuse them into a green bronze tier Lord Talent Origin Divine Crystal? Yes, Zhou said. The next second, a bronze light flashed. A hexagonal bronze crystal the size of a thumb appeared in front of him. It was surrounded by a bronze belt of light that looked like a ring of stars. It was the green bronze tier Lord Talent Origin Divine Crystal. A text notification appeared. Treasure name, Lord Talent Origin Divine Crystal. Treasure grade, green bronze tier. Treasure effect 1. The Lord will randomly awaken a green bronze tier Lord Talent after absorbing it. Treasure effect 2. Lords with Black Iron Tier Lord talents can use it to upgrade their Black Iron Tier Lord talents to Green Bronze Tier Lord talents. Treasure description. A law treasure condensed by the supreme will. It can be used to awaken talent or upgrade talents. Absorb/upgrade. Upgrade. Jojo said in a low voice. Awakening a new Green Bronze Tier Lord talent might be very tempting, but that was too random. Jojo would regret like crazy if he awakened a Lord talent similar to Return to the City. Please choose one to advance which one of your 2 Black Iron Tier Lord talents. Insight Defection and Return to the City to upgrade. I choose to upgrade the Insight Defection. Jojo said. Lord talent has been chosen. Upgrading in progress. The next second. He suddenly felt a familiar warmth between his eyebrows. This feeling. He had felt it when he advanced to the mythical tier King of Loots. He felt it again now. A moment later. The warmth faded. A new text notification appeared. Lord talent upgrade successful. Congratulations, your Black Iron Tier Lord talent, Insight Defection, has been upgraded to Green Bronze Tier Lord talent, Insight Defection. The following effect have been upgraded to Green Bronze Tier Lord talent, Insight Defection. Insight Defection. A Lord's exclusive talent. You can activate the Insight Defection talent to turn 5% of the enemy Lord's forces into your loyal subordinates when you fight the enemy Lord head-on. Lord talent hint 1. The lowest limit of the number of enemies defecting is 1 unit of enemy, and the highest is 30,000 units of enemy. The loyalty of the enemy after defection is at least 80 points. Lord talent notification 2. Currently, the upper limit of the Lord faction level that you can induce Insight Defection is the White Platinum Tier Advanced Grade Lord faction. This upper limit can grow. Lord talent hint 3. This talent can only be activated once a day. Jojo nodded in satisfaction after reading it. Only 2 numbers had changed. The first was that the percentage of enemies who had Insight Defection had changed from 2% to 5%. The second was that the upper limit of the number of enemies for Insight Defection had increased from 10,000 units to 30,000 units. Jojo was pleasantly surprised. He did not expect that the advancement from Black Iron Tier to Green Bronze Tier would have such a good effect on Insight Defection. A 5% Insight Defection ratio. If the enemy base was high, this 5% could completely unleash an astonishing effect. A moment later, after Jojo's mood returned to normal, he called Zhang Kaishan and his brother in. Greetings, my lord. The 2 brothers immediately greeted respectfully. As you can see, I've already completely conquered the desolate Gobi. Next, I'll give you a task which you have to do well. Tomorrow, send people to clean up the scattered fog monsters in the entire desolate Gobi, so that the fog monsters will no longer disturb the desolate Gobi. You should have heard that this desolate city is going to become a commercial city, right? Clearing the scattered monsters in the area so that there are no more safety hazards here is the foundation for this matter. You should understand the importance of this matter. This is the map of the desolate Gobi. It records the distribution of scattered monsters in the desolate Gobi area. You can just use it to clean up the monsters. Jojo took out a map dungeon of the desolate Gobi and handed it to them. From tomorrow onwards, we will immediately clear out the scattered monsters in the desolate Gobi area. We guarantee that it will not affect the Lord's plans for the commercial city. Zhang Kaishan said respectfully. Jojo acknowledged. Also, as a city of commerce, it's not good to call it Desolate City anymore. From now on, Desolate City will be changed to Sand Gold City. The desolate Gobi will become Sand Gold Land. Jojo said. Yes, one last thing. Sand Gold City will be a commercial city in the future. I definitely can't let you 2, who don't understand business, continue to be city lords. I'll send a new city lord over tomorrow. This new city lord will be very proficient in business matters. He will become the new city lord of Sand Gold City and preside over Sand Gold City's future business development plan. And you 2 will take a step back and become the vice city lord of Sand Gold City. You have to cooperate with him. Help him develop Sand Gold City well. Do you have any objections? Jojo looked at the 2 of them. He thought that the 2 of them would be indignant after hearing his words. After all, they had been city lords for a day or 2. However, when the 2 of them heard this news, Not only were they not unwilling, they even heaved a sigh of relief. I have no objections. I can't be happier. Zhang Kaishan could not help but laugh. Zhou was stunned. We brothers also know that we don't have much business talent with our subordinates. I was terrified when I heard about this, because we brothers know that it will be very difficult for us to develop the business city well. If we do something wrong and ruin the business city development plan in your heart, we will definitely be punished. Now the Lord has given this burden to someone else. It's the best choice for us. We're overjoyed. Why would we have any objections? They saw the confusion on Zhou's face and hurriedly explained. When Zhou heard this, he quietly opened their loyalty and realized that their loyalty had reached 91 and 92 points. Only then did he confirm that the two of them were not lying, and a satisfied expression appeared on his face. Not bad. These two people were quite self-aware. He liked people who knew what they could and couldn't do. Originally, he still had some grudges against their previous backgrounds. Now, these grudges dissipated because of what the two of them said. It's for you. Work for me in this way from now on. I won't forget your benefits. He took out 100 yellow gold tier mist cores and placed them beside them. Thank you for the reward, my lord. When the two of them saw the 100 yellow gold tier mist cores, their breathing immediately quickened. His lordship was actually so generous. 2 lines of notifications flashed across Zhou's eyes. Their loyalty reached 95 and 96 points. The corners of Zhou's mouth twitched. These two people. Their money-loving nature had not changed. He shook his head. He didn't care. Who didn't love money? A moment later, Zhou asked Wuxia and Bai Yi and the others to temporarily camp in Sandgold City. He stepped onto Nazario's back and flew to Blazing Sun City alone. He planned to go back and upgrade his territory. In addition, he would integrate the Sandgold Lands regional order into the Territory Stone Tablet, so that he could completely occupy 2 regional territories. A moment later, before the scarlet fog appeared, Zhou rushed back to Blazing Sun City. However, the moment he entered the city, Zhou saw Wuxia chatting with 3 old men. When they saw Zhou, Wuxia immediately stood up and bowed. When the 3 elders found out that the young man who had suddenly arrived was the Lord of the Blazing Sun, surprise flashed in their eyes. Then they stood up and bowed. You don't have to be polite with me. May I know who you are? Zhou asked doubtfully. The 3 of us have admired my lord for a long time. We're here this time. I'm here to seek refuge with you and serve you, my lord, and find a place to retire. A chubby old man among the 3 chuckled. Retirement. What a familiar word. Zhou immediately reacted. These were the talents that he had attracted with the 3 points of reputation rating he had obtained in the newbie test. However, he looked at the 3 old men. For a moment he did not know what to say. How did Blazing Sun City really become a center for senior cadres? He complained in his heart. Chapter 135 Soul Reaper Maris. Zhou looked at the 3 talents attracted by his reputation rating. There were a total of 3 men and 1 woman. They were all white-haired old men. He looked at their attribute information. The first was the chubby old man just now. Subject: Qianzhongsheng's territory. Blazing Sun City's life profession. Merchant, profession class. Extraordinary tier elementary grade ability overview. The former finance minister of the Aurora Kingdom who was trusted by the Aurora King. He was a businessman who traveled everywhere when he was young. Later, he encountered the Aurora King and was appreciated by the king. From then on, he entered the palace to become an official and finally became the finance minister. Skills: Extraordinary tier elementary grade commerce, Extraordinary elementary grade financial management, Extraordinary tier elementary grade tax management, Extraordinary tier elementary grade mental arithmetic, Diamond tier advanced grade bargaining, Diamond tier advanced grade eloquence, Diamond tier advanced grade speech, Diamond tier intermediate grade appeasement, Diamond tier intermediate grade advice, Diamond tier advanced grade management, Diamond tier incentive, Diamond tier debate. Loyalty: 81 potential. Extraordinary tier advanced grade. Zhou could not help but look at this amiable and chubby old man. He was actually at extraordinary tier elementary grade. This was the first time he had seen such a talented professional. The second person was an old man in a white robe. Not only was his face kind, but he was also handsome. The moment Zhou saw this old man, he felt that he must have been a handsome man when he was young. Subject: by Yuejing. Territory: Blazing Sun City. Life profession: Doctor. Profession class: Diamond Tier Intermediate Grade. Ability overview: the Aurora Kingdom's Imperial Physician. He was once the vice president of the Aurora Doctor Association. He saved countless people in his life and was passionate about treating commoners. He was loved by the Aurora subjects. Skills: talent appeasement, Diamond Tier Intermediate Grade Medical Theory, Diamond Tier Intermediate Grade Medicinal Herb Processing, Diamond Tier Intermediate Grade Potion Life Restoration Potion, Diamond Tier Intermediate Grade Surgical Healing, Diamond Tier Intermediate Grade Internal Medicine Healing, Diamond Tier Intermediate Grade Epidemic Healing, Diamond Tier Intermediate Grade Limb Suture, Diamond Tier Elementary Grade War Psychological Rehabilitation. Loyalty: 85. Potential: Extraordinary Tier Intermediate Grade. Zhou's eyes lit up. A Diamond Tier Intermediate Grade doctor. He immediately thought of Baoxiuer's grandmaster, Li Huiwei. That person was still seriously ill, and was staying in Yuchuan town to recuperate. Zhang Li was also taking care of her. He did not know if this Diamond Tier Intermediate Grade doctor would be able to treat her illness. He could bring this doctor over to take a look tomorrow. Zhou immediately made a decision. Then he looked at the last old man. This old man's clothes were completely different from the two people in front of him. He looked a little unrestrained. He had a large saber hanging from his waist. Even though he looked old, a sharp aura would occasionally appear in his eyes. Subject: Luofeng. Territory: Blazing Sun City. Combat class name: Martial Artist. Strength level: Yellow Gold Tier Intermediate Grade. Ability overview: a green forest hero of the Aurora Kingdom. He is easily angered and likes to fight for justice. His blood demon saber technique makes countless evil people tremble in fear. There are no vengeful souls under his saber, but he is also pursued by the Aurora Kingdom because he disregarded the law and killed people without permission. He is currently a fugitive from the Aurora Kingdom. Skills: White Platinum Tier Advanced Grade Martial Arts Manual, Blood Demon Saber Technique, White Platinum Tier Intermediate Grade Martial Arts Manual, Wind Chasing Steps, Yellow Gold Tier Advanced Grade Martial Arts Manual, Black Water Mystic Shield, White Silver Tier Intermediate Grade Martial Arts Manual, Turtle Breathing Technique. Loyalty: 81. Potential: Extraordinary Tier Intermediate Grade. A wanted criminal? Zhou looked at him. The other party grinned and revealed a forthright smile. My lord, don't tell me you want to capture me to exchange for the bounty? My bounty in the Aurora Kingdom is also in the hundreds of white platinum tier mist cores. Sometimes I'm tempted to sell myself for some reward money. I won't be surprised if my lord has such intentions, Luofeng said casually. I've always admired heroes who dare to attack the injustice of the world. Senior Luo, you don't have to test me like this. Moreover, I don't fancy those hundreds of white platinum tier mist cores. Zhou said calmly. My lord, aren't you afraid that the Aurora Kingdom will chase me here? Luofeng looked at Zhou in surprise and asked with a smile. Zhou smiled. This is the previous great general of the Aurora Kingdom, Elder Wu Exine. Our vice city lord of Blazing Sun City was one of the 3 former prime ministers, Zhang Yuanqi, Elder Zheng, and this Elder Qian, who has just joined the Aurora Kingdom, who was once the finance minister of the Aurora Kingdom, and I'm slightly less famous. I'm just the strongest novice lord among our cerulean planet's human lords, and admired by the supreme will, even though I'm the least famous and experienced. But with these people backing me up, I don't think anyone will be blind enough to barge into my territory and take you down. Don't you think so, senior? He said. My lord is right. Looks like I've really found a good place to retire. Luofeng raised his eyebrows. Then he pondered for a few seconds and nodded. Compared to these people, especially compared to Zhou, the strongest novice lord, who had entered the sight of the supreme will, his wanted criminal status was indeed nothing. As long as the officials of the Aurora Kingdom had any brains, they would not offend this lord. So senior can live with me in peace, Zhou said. He did not care much about the other party's probing. As a lord, he still had this amount of tolerance. However, his tolerance did not mean that others would take it lying down. Luofeng, I was only willing to communicate with you because I saw that you had never done anything wrong, and that you wanted to join my lord. But you shouldn't have probed the lord. Remember, your ability is nothing to us. You're just a wanted criminal who came here to ask for help. Wuxian looked at Luofeng coldly. The faint heroic pressure and dragon blood pressure made Luofeng's heart tremble. I know my mistake. Please forgive me, my lord. Luofeng admitted defeat without hesitation. We're family. Everyone be harmonious. Zhou chuckled. The tense atmosphere finally returned to normal. Qian Jiangsheng and Bai Yuejing looked at Wuxian in surprise. As a former official of the Aurora Kingdom, they knew the temper of the former general in front of them. Logically speaking, it was very difficult for him to submit to someone, let alone personally protect him like this. According to their understanding, only the Aurora King and his good friend, Zheng Yuanqi, could make him do this. And this lord actually only used a few days to be treated like this by General Wu. How did he do this? They were very surprised. Wuxian saw the meaning in their eyes and said calmly, I've become a hero, all thanks to my lord. My lord allowed me to be reborn. Therefore, those who humiliate our lord, it's equivalent to humiliating me. Towards the end, he even glanced at Luofeng. Luofeng broke out in cold sweat. At the same time, the three of them looked at Wuxian in shock. He did not expect this great general to really get what he wanted and become a legendary hero. Then they looked at Zhou, feeling that this lord was getting more unfathomable. At the same time, they felt that they had really followed the right person. Oh yes. Where's Elder Zhang? Zhou asked as if he did not see the gazes of the three of them. Elder Zhang went to Fish Spring Town not long ago. He said that he was discussing the establishment of a trade route with Zhang Bowen. I don't think he'll be able to come back today, Wuxian said. Zhou also remembered this. One more thing. My lord. We're here this time with a message for you other than wanting to join your territory, Qian Jiangsheng said. What is it? Zhou asked curiously. His Majesty the Aurora King heard about how you helped Fish Spring Town and your performance in the Novice Lord test. He has already asked Her Highness the Princess to bring gifts over. They'll probably be here tomorrow, Qian Jiangsheng said. Zhou nodded. After that he did not chat much. Instead, he went to the Gate of Summoning and took out the Soul Reaper recruitment book he had obtained from the Kobold tribe. Then, he threw it into the Gate of Summoning. Soon, a 4 to 5 meter tall kobold wearing a black robe and holding a huge black sickle in both hands walked out of the Gate of Summoning. Greetings, my lord. Soul Reaper Maris is at your service. It half knelt on the ground and said respectfully. Zhou stood in front of it. He could feel the terrifying death aura that the other party naturally emitted. This aura seemed to be able to suppress souls. Zhou could feel a sense of oppression even when he stood in front of it. Welcome to Blazing Sun City. He smiled. Then, he opened its interface information. Subject: Maris. Territory: Blazing Sun City. Soldier name: Soul Reaper Divine Kingdom Tier Soldier. Strength level: Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade Ability Overview. Member of the 6th Party of the 7th Battalion of Thanatos, the God of Death. Soul Reaper Corps. Possessed the terrifying ability to harvest souls. Skills: Divine Kingdom Tier Soldier Talent Soul Harvest, Divine Kingdom Tier Soldier Talent Soul Absorption, Divine Kingdom Tier Soldier Talent, Physical Immunity, Talent Soul Leaving the Body, Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade Battlefield Killing Technique. Loyalty: 85 Potential. Yellow Gold Tier Advanced Grade. Zhou could not help but be curious. He opened its skill description and took a look. Then, he understood the ability of this Soul Reaper. This Soul Reaper could use its soul to harvest this Divine Kingdom Tier talent and kill living beings of the same level in an almost instant while ignoring physical attacks. Moreover, the souls of the living beings it killed would be absorbed by it and become nourishment for its growth. Could be said that, if 100 Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade monsters appeared in front of it, only these monsters did not have the ability to defend against soul attacks. It could quickly kill these 100 monsters in a few seconds and make itself stronger. These 100 monsters would not even be able to resist. Soul Reapers could also deal a certain amount of damage to the enemy's soul, even when facing enemies stronger than it. After many blows, it would be very easy to kill enemies above its level. This is simply a lawn mower on the battlefield. Zhou eyes lit up. However, he had to see for himself what the actual combat was like. Then, he asked Maris to find a residence to rest while he went to the Lord's courtyard to prepare to upgrade his territory. Chapter 136 Upgrade Territory. Administrative Hall. In front of the Lord's courtyard, Zhou looked at the scene in front of him. A line of text appeared just as he received the 50 green bronze tier Aurora crystals. Do you want to upgrade the Lord's courtyard? Yes, he said. The next second, 200,000 units of basic materials, 1,000 green bronze tier mist cores, 6 origin crystals, and 3 green bronze tier territory tokens instantly disappeared. Boom! A golden light immediately covered the entire Lord's wooden house. A moment later, the golden light dissipated. Zhou looked over. The Lord's courtyard had already changed drastically. Its area had expanded by more than 10 times. At the same time, the entire building had changed from its original courtyard style to an ancient mansion. At the same time, the buildings inside and outside looked even more imposing and dignified. Rows of notifications appeared. Congratulations, your Lord's courtyard has been upgraded to a white silver tier elementary grade building. It has been upgraded to a Lord's mansion. There is an additional mansion. Your territory has been upgraded to a white silver tier elementary grade territory. Territory token durability increased to 200,000/200,000. Your territory has expanded to 30,000 m times 30,000 m times 5,000 m. All fog monsters within the territory of the new territory have been expelled. Scarlet fog will not appear in any of your territories. You have received an upgrade reward. Administrative Hall, White Silver Tier Elementary Grade. Lord Talent Hint. The upper limit of the enemy Lord's power that you can instigate to defect has been increased to Diamond Tier Elementary Grade. Lord Talent Hint. Your monster ranches can be upgraded. Lord Talent Hint. Your mysterious caravan faction has increased. The notification had just passed. A ball of golden light appeared in Zhou's hand. After the light dissipated, a blueprint floated down. It was the building blueprint of the White Silver Tier Elementary Grade Administrative Hall. Before he could see the specific attributes of this blueprint, 3 lines of golden text appeared in front of him again. It also appeared in front of all the Cerulean Planet Lords. Cerulean Planet World Channel Announcement. Congratulations to the Lord of the Blazing Sun on becoming the first Lord to upgrade his territory to the White Silver Tier Elementary Grade. Reward. Supreme Treasure Chest +1, Reputation Rating +1, Race Unique Title. Blazer's Glory I has advanced to Blazer's Glory 2. Cerulean Planet World Channel Announcement. Congratulations to the Lord of the Blazing Sun. Cerulean Planet World Channel Announcement. Congratulations to the Lord of the Blazing Sun. The title has advanced. A smile appeared on Zhou's face. He was so anxious to return to level up his territory, because he wanted to take down the Blazer's Glory 2 earlier so that others wouldn't intercept him. Even if others intercepted, they could only obtain the Blazer's Glory I. But that was not what he wanted to see. Then, he opened the World Channel. He was refreshed and prepared to be flattered by the Lords. At this moment, the Cerulean Planet Lords on the World Channel were discussing his matter as he had expected. Oh my god. It's only the 8th day and Big Boss Blazing Sun is already in a White Silver Tier Elementary Grade territory. I'm only at the Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade. I already feel that I'm not bad. Brother above, your territory level is really good. I heard from the Lord of the Dragon Blood Alliance that the Dragon Lady Lord is only a Green Bronze Tier Intermediate Grade territory. The subsequent upgrades of the territory are starting to require territory tokens. I envy the big shots who can upgrade the territory. The territory of the Dragon Lady Lord. Susanna looked at the announcement in front of her and frowned slightly. He already has a White Silver Tier Elementary Grade territory? Which meant, Lord of the Blazing Sun has already conquered at least 6 Green Bronze Tier territories. He's just one person. He's never formed an alliance or joined another alliance. How did he do it? Could it be that I can't surpass him even if I establish an alliance? Susanna muttered to herself. However, her eyes became firm. That's not right. We can definitely surpass them. It's just that I haven't fully unleashed the power of the alliance. Now that there's the threat of the lords of all races' battlefield activities, coupled with the distance between the lords, most of the alliance members want to conserve their strength and can't easily send forces to help me. That's why my alliance advantage can't be fully displayed. In the future, after the lords can gather their strength and unleash the power of the alliance, at that time, the lone lord of the blazing sun will definitely be completely left in the dust by me. Susanna firmly believed that she had made the right choice. Then she looked at the alliance chat group she had formed. There were more than 10 million lords inside. However, most of the lords here came from all over the high continent. It was almost a fantasy to cross such a long distance to help her. There were actually only about 100 lords who could really send their own forces over. Even if there were more than 100 lord factions, she had to use her interests to bind them before they were willing to send forces to help her. Susanna did not care. For the sake of her future prospects, she was still determined to fork out some of the benefits she had paid in the early stages. The Overlord Lord's territory, Xiang Shuaba, who was more than 3 meters tall and had a pair of blood-colored wings on his back, looked at the entire channel announcement as he ate the beast meat in his mouth. Don't be anxious. Lord of the Blazing Sun, let's see when we get to the finish line. Let's see if you're the strongest when you develop your territory with all your might. Or is my gluttonous demon body stronger? The fighting spirit in his eyes deepened. At the same time, just as the announcement appeared in front of all the Cerulean planet lords, a chat group formed by 11 Cerulean planet lords called the Sun Extermination Association was also discussing the Lord of the Blazing Sun. They were all Cerulean planet lords near the Aurora Kingdom. This was because they knew that the territory of the Lord of the Blazing Sun was also near the Aurora Kingdom. Therefore, they got to know each other on the World Channel and gathered their friends to form this alliance called the Sun Extermination Association. The goal was simple. There were only 2 points. First, cooperate with each other and develop together to protect their status as lords. Secondly, eliminate the greatest threat, the Lord of the Blazing Sun. This was because the territory of the Lord of the Blazing Sun was the closest to them. Therefore, the second goal was even more important than the first. The Lord of the Blazing Sun already has a white silver tier elementary grade territory. We can't let him develop anymore. Don't be anxious. Have you found the exact location of the Lord of the Blazing Sun's territory? I know a high-ranking official in the palace. According to him, the territory of the Lord of the Blazing Sun is near Fish Spring Town. Fish Spring Town? Is it the town where the mysterious merchant appeared recently? Yes, that's it. Fuck. It's so close to my territory. My territory is in the thorn dune beside it. Let's mourn for the person above. Brothers, don't wait anymore. Let's gather and rush over tomorrow. Hurry up and deal with the Lord of the Blazing Sun. This way our greatest problem will be gone. Then we can even get a share of the wealth of the Lord of the Blazing Sun. That's the wealth accumulated by the top Cerulean planet lord. Aren't you tempted? Our alliance has just been established. We can't go out easily before we figure out the way to meet up. Then what should I do? Don't worry, the battlefield of the lords of all races is imminent. The other party won't have the time to attack you. However, we have to make a move during the Lord of all races battlefield event. Otherwise, it will be even harder for us to take him down after the event. Agreed. Well, deal with the Lord of the Blazing Sun during the Myriad Races Lord Battlefield event. Agreed. +1. +1. Zhou naturally did not know that there was already a Sun Extermination Association that was quietly established and was planning to deal with him. He was looking at the blueprint in his hand. He had only seen this administrative hall in Fish Spring Town. However, he had never seen it in Zhao Changshu's list of building skills. Logically speaking, it was impossible for a top architect like Zhao Changshu not to know how to build an important territory building like the administrative hall. However, it was not in his skill list. From this, it could be seen how special this building was. He looked at the building blueprint. He quickly found out the reason. Construction blueprint name, Administrative Hall, one-time use blueprint. Blueprint grade, white silver tier elementary grade blueprint effect. Special building blueprint. An architect of white silver tier elementary grade and above will hold this blueprint and use the corresponding construction materials to build an administrative place specially for the territory officials to deal with the territory's matters. Construction materials: 20,000 units of wood, 20,000 units of fine sand, 20,000 units of metal, 20,000 units of stone, 100 white silver tier mist cores, 1 origin crystal. Prompt 1. This blueprint is a one-time use blueprint. It will disappear after being used. Prompt 2. After the construction is successful, the administrative hall will be upgraded as the territory upgrades. Zhou looked at the blueprint and raised his eyebrows. This was the first time he had seen such a one-time use blueprint, and it could not be learned permanently by an architect. This should be a functional building similar to the Gate of Summoning. That's why architects can't learn. We can only obtain its blueprint by upgrading the territory and build it at once, Zhou pondered. Then, he called over a yellow gold tier advanced grade architect and went to a suitable location with him, preparing to build the administrative hall here. Zhang Yuanqi had told him this position. It was also an empty space specially reserved by Zhang Yuanqi for the construction officials' offices. However, after he left this empty space, he did not build any buildings. Previously, Zhou had been puzzled. Now he was enlightened. Zhang Yuanqi must have known that he would be able to obtain the blueprint of the administrative hall sooner or later, so he specially left this empty space. Then this yellow gold tier advanced grade architect used the blueprint of the administrative hall in front of Zhou. 80,000 units of basic materials, 100 white silver tier mist cores, and 1 origin crystal immediately disappeared. The next second, the blueprint in the other party's hand instantly turned into a golden light and landed on this empty space. The golden light gradually enlarged and finally formed the golden outline of a tall building. A moment later, the golden light dissipated. A 3-story office building with white and blue as the main colors appeared in front of Zhou. It was the same style as the administrative hall he had seen in Fish Spring Town. Zhou looked at it. The building information appeared. Building name, Administrative Hall, Territory Level, White Silver Tier Elementary Grade Building Effect. A special building in the territory that can allow the territory officials to deal with the territory's matters. Specific Function 1. The efficiency of the territory increases by 100%. Specific Effect 2. Reduces the probability of crimes happening in the territory by 10%. Specific Function 3. Slowly increase the loyalty of your subjects. Specific Function 4. Officials can obtain a different amount of promotion energy when they deal with specific administrative matters in the territory. Building Description. Nothing is permanent. Those that are useful will be promoted. Those who are useless will be demoted. Originally, his previous solution was to buy these minerals from the exchange to complete the acquisition of raw materials. Now, he had a total of 100,000 kilograms of iron ore. It was enough for his territory to use for a long time. In the future, he would not have to buy iron ore from the exchange for the time being. Then, he took out a pen from his spatial ring and wrote his name on the mineral contract for the mini iron ore. The next second, a virtual area map of the entire Blazing Sun Desert and a virtual city map of the desolate city appeared in front of him. A simple text notification appeared. Please choose the location where the mineral appears. I can even choose a mineral mining site? Zhou thought for a moment. In the end, he confirmed the location in the desert not far from Blazing Sun City. Mineral deed, miniature iron ore is successfully used. Congratulations, you have successfully obtained a miniature iron ore. Mineral name, iron ore. Mineral effect, a miniature open-pit iron mine containing 100,000 tons of iron ore. Mineral size, miniature. Mineral description, a mini iron ore that stores a small amount of mineral resources. We can send soldiers to mine it tomorrow, Zhou acknowledged. Then, he looked at the advanced unique title of the race. Title, The Glory of the Pioneer. 2 Title quality, unique title of the race. Title effect 1. You are famous among the Cerulean planet lords. More people admire your reputation, and yearn to join your territory. The number of subjects you can summon through the gate of summoning every day plus 100%. Professional talents of the same level as the territory among the subjects summoned plus 2. Title effect 2. When you speak in any channel, your unique title suffix will be added behind your lord title. You can take the initiative to turn it off or activate it. Title effect 3. This title will be upgraded to Glory of the Pioneer 2 and unlock more title effects when you become the first Cerulean Planet Lord to possess a White-Silver Tier Elementary Grade territory. Title description. The Supreme Will is the exclusive title given to the Pioneer among the Lords. Every Pioneer of every race has a higher chance of achieving extraordinary achievements. I want to continue to maintain my development advantage. Only then can I obtain the Glory of the Pioneer 3 before all the Cerulean Planet Lords. After Zhou saw the effect of the upgraded title, he nodded in satisfaction. Then he thought thoughtfully. As for the remaining 1 reputation rating point, it would depend on who the talent attracted by the reputation rating was tomorrow. After that, he arrived at the gate of summoning and spent 32,000 units of basic materials and 800 green bronze tier mist cores to upgrade it. Congratulations! Your gate of summoning has been upgraded to a white-silver tier elementary grade building. You can summon 30 subjects every day. You will definitely summon 8 professionals every day. Prompt. Under the influence of the race's unique title, Glory of the Pioneer 2, you can summon 189 subjects a day. You will definitely summon 11 professionals every day. And the professional levels of 3 of them will be the same as your territory level. With the promotion of the unique title of the race, it's increasing the number of people it summons every day. Zhou lamented. He could only summon up to 63 people a day if not for the increase in population summoned by the Glory of the Pioneer 2. However, it had increased by 200% and had become 189 people. In the future, he would not have to worry about the lack of subjects in the territory. He was not surprised at the increase of the maximum summoning limit by 30 people. The last time he upgraded from Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade to Green Bronze Tier Elementary Grade, it also directly increased the summoning limit by 20 people. It far exceeded the population increase brought about by small advancements. Therefore, it should increase the number of people to be summoned after the gate of summoning increases in level. Then, he looked at the requirements to upgrade the gate of summoning to the White-Silver Tier Intermediate Grade. Construction upgrade, 15,000 units of wood, 15,000 units of fine sand, 15,000 units of metal, 15,000 units of stone, 200 White-Silver Tier mist cores, territory level upgraded to White-Silver Tier Intermediate Grade. Zhou retracted his gaze. The requirements to upgrade the gate of summoning were much simpler compared to the requirements to upgrade the Lord's residence. He had all the other materials and resources. He only needed to raise his territory to the next level and he could directly upgrade it. After that, Zhou returned to the Lord's residence and came to the territory stone tablet. He took out the regional token for Sandgold Land. Chapter 138 Military Recruitment Building Golem Lair. The Mysterious Merchant Returns. Zhou placed the regional token of the Sandgold Land on his territory tablet. The next second, a suction force came from the territory token and sucked this regional token into it. Rows of golden text notifications appeared. Congratulations on obtaining a Black Iron Tier regional token, Sandgold Land, and officially becoming the regional lord of this region. A new area, the Sandgold Land Black Iron Tier, has been added to your regional territory. You have obtained a regional treasure chest. Exclusive to the Sandgold Land, Zhou opened his regional territory column. He looked over. Regional territory, Blazing Sun Desert Black Iron Tier, Sandgold Land Black Iron Tier. From now on, I officially own the Blazing Sun Desert and the Sandgold Land. Zhou's lips curled up slightly. Then he opened the treasure chest of the Sandgold Land. In the end he saw a palm-sized stone nest model inside. What's this? Zhou held it in his hand and observed it. A text notification appeared. Treasure name, Golem Lair, Treasure Grade, Black Iron Tier, Treasure Effect. After placing it in the territory, the Lord will have a high-level military recruitment building that can recruit golems. Treasure description. a specialty of the Sand Gold Land. It can summon a high-level monster soldier type called a golem for the Lord's own use. Do you want to place it? Zhou raised his eyebrows. His eyes were filled with surprise. High-level military recruitment building? He only had elemental archers as his high-level soldiers. These golems were actually evaluated as high-level soldier types. He immediately realized that this was a good thing. However, he would only know its true effect after taking a closer look. Thinking of this, Zhou immediately took it out of the Lord's residence and came to an uninhabited desert in the territory. He placed the model on the sand and chanted, "Place it in his heart." The next second, the golem lair immediately began to grow larger, and quickly turned into a golem lair that was 7 to 8 meters tall. On both sides of the entrance of the lair, there were two mighty and ferocious golem statues standing. Zhou looked at the building. The building information appeared. Treasure name: Golem Lair. Territory level: Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade Building Effect. High-level military recruitment building. You can summon 3 Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade Golems a day to become subjects of the territory and be used by you. Construction upgrade: 100 units of wood, 100 units of fine sand, 100 units of metal, 800 units of stone, 100 units of Black Iron Tier Mist Core, 50 units of pure iron. Building description: a high-level recruitment building that can recruit golems. The golems recruited have incomparably strong bodies and are not afraid of soul attacks. They are fearless in battle. All of them are fierce generals who look down on the battlefield. Prompt: this building can be upgraded to White Silver Tier Advanced Grade. Prompt: this building can recruit up to 5,000 golems. If the golems die in battle, they will not take up the recruitment slot. Can it be upgraded? It's just that the upper limit is a little low. I can only upgrade it to White Silver Tier Advanced Grade, and there can only be 5,000 golems at the same time, Zhou thought. However, he did not feel too regretful. It was already very good to be able to obtain such a reward from a regional treasure chest given by a Black Iron Tier area. He did not recruit immediately. Instead, he upgraded it first. 1,100 units of basic materials, 100 units of Black Iron Tier Mist Cores, and 50 units of pure iron disappeared. This golem lair had also been upgraded to Black Iron Tier Intermediate Grade. Treasure name: Golem Lair. Territory level: Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade Building Effect. Monster Recruitment Building. You can summon 5 Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade Golems every day to become subjects of the territory and be used by you. Construction upgrade: 200 units of wood, 200 units of fine sand, 200 units of metal, 1,600 units of stone, 200 units of Black Iron Tier Mist Core, 100 units of pure iron. Building description: a recruitment building that can summon golems. The summoned golems have incomparably strong bodies and are fearless of soul attacks. They are fearless in battle. All of them are fierce generals who look down on the battlefield. Prompt: this building can be upgraded to White Silver Tier Advanced Grade. Seeing this, Zhou continued to level up, and quickly upgraded it to Green Bronze Tier Elementary Grade. At this moment, the golem lair could already summon Green Bronze Tier Elite Golems. In addition to the basic resources and the Green Bronze Tier Mist Core, its next upgrade requirements had also changed from pure iron to Green Bronze Tier material, forged stainless steel. Zhou had all these materials. Therefore, he chose to continue leveling up. After a while, the graphite nest was officially upgraded to a White Silver Tier Elementary Grade building. At this moment, he could already summon the White Silver Tier Elementary Grade Golem Leader. Apart from the basic resources and the White Silver Tier Mist Cores, the original Green Bronze Tier material, forged stainless steel, had also become White Silver Tier material adamantine. Zhou had obtained such materials from the White Silver Tier materials package in the Novice Lord test, so he still chose to continue leveling up. A moment later, after spending a total of 363,700 units of basic materials, 700 Black Iron Tier Mist Cores, 700 Green Bronze Tier Mist Cores, 700 White Silver Tier Mist Cores, and a total of 900 kilograms of pure iron, forged stainless steel, and adamantine, the golem lair had already been directly promoted to the White Silver Tier Advanced Grade by Zhou. This point, this monster recruitment building had already been upgraded to the upper limit. Zhou looked at the 20-meter-tall golem lair. Treasure name: Golem Lair. Territory level: White Silver Tier Advanced Grade Building Effect. Monster Recruitment Building. You can summon 1 White Silver Tier Advanced Grade Golem Lord, not Scarlet Lord, 5 White Silver Tier Golem Leaders, 20 Green Bronze Tier Golem Elites, and 100 normal golems to become subjects in the territory and to be used by you. Construction Upgrade. It has been upgraded to the maximum level of the building. Cannot continue upgrading. Building Description. A monster recruitment building that can summon golems. The summoned golems have incomparably strong bodies and are not afraid of soul attacks. They are fearless in battle and are all fierce generals who look down on the battlefield. Seeing this, he immediately began to summon. The next second, rumble. 126 golems walked out of the golem lair accompanied by heavy footsteps and the sound of stones colliding. The leader was a White Silver Tier Advanced Grade Golem Lord. Greetings, my lord. I, Shursha, am willing to serve you, Shursha said in a muffled voice. Zhou nodded lightly. Then, he opened the other party's attribute information. In the end, he realized that the other party's interface was no longer a monster interface but a normal subject interface. There was no change in ability. It still wore the same set of rock armor. As for loyalty, it was similar to the subjects that were summoned normally. Under the Lord Talent of Peace and Prosperity, they were all at 71 points of loyalty and higher. Basically, they could be trusted. Zhou nodded in satisfaction. From then on, 126 golems that did not need to eat and drink would join his blazing sun city every day. With this group of golems with extremely sturdy bodies that were not afraid of soul attacks, standing in front as meat shields, he believed that every soldier behind them would feel a deep sense of security from them. Actually, he had also thought of letting this group of big golems go to the mini iron mine to mine iron ore every day. But looking at their skills, he felt that it was a waste of his talent to let them work in the iron mine. Only on the battlefield could their abilities be perfectly displayed. All of you will temporarily join the Blazing Sun Army and fight alongside it every day. Zhou looked at them and said, Yes, my lord. Shursha said gloomily. Oh yes. Where do you usually live? Zhou asked. I've something to report, my lord. Normally we can stay in the lair. This lair can accommodate 5,000 golems. It's more than enough for us, Shursha said. Zhou was deep in thought. This should be the reason why this golem lair could only summon 5,000 golems, right? At this moment, Zhou saw a caravan enter Blazing Sun City from afar. It was the mysterious caravan led by Zheng Fuguwei. However, the other party had already shed that mysterious appearance and returned to the appearance of an ordinary caravan. There had been other changes other than that. The first difference is, their numbers and carriages had increased. When they left, there were only 28 people and 18 green bronze tier advanced grade carriages. And now, the number of mysterious merchants has increased from 28 to 36. The number of carriages also increased from 18 green bronze tier advanced grade carriages to 26 white silver tier elementary grade carriages. Zhou checked their information. They realized that they had already advanced from green bronze tier advanced grade mysterious merchant to white silver tier elementary grade mysterious merchant. His mysterious merchant's exclusive skill level had also increased from green bronze tier advanced grade to white silver tier elementary grade. Zhou immediately reacted. This was the upgrade brought to the mysterious caravan after the territory leveled up. It's time for Mugu to level up, Zhou thought. The second difference was, there were no goods on the carriage when they went. However, their carriages were already filled with goods. Looks like they've gained a lot this time. Zhou smiled faintly. Soon, the news of the mysterious merchant's return spread throughout Blazing Sun City. When the subjects heard the news, they all came out of their homes with joy on their faces. They found Zheng Fuguwei and the others and got the miscore that they had earned from selling goods, as well as the daily necessities that they had always wanted. Zheng Fuguwei and the other mysterious vendors immediately got busy like normal merchants. Zhou was deep in thought when he saw this. My territory has been upgraded, and the area has greatly increased. Now there are mysterious merchants replenishing the supplies in the territory. At the same time, The goods in the territory can be circulated for profit. Not long after, with the establishment of Sandgold City, Blazing Sun City will no longer have to worry about the lack of all kinds of resources, especially water and food. There's basically nothing to worry about with Sandgold City around. The upper limit of my territory's population should have increased by now. From tomorrow onwards, I don't have to worry about the population limit anymore. I can use the soldier-type recruitment books normally and continue to expand my military strength. Zhou eyes immediately lit up thinking of this. To a lord like him, he would be able to continue to expand his forces. This was the result he wanted the most. At this moment, he saw Wu Tu leading the scout team into Blazing Sun City before the scarlet fog completely descended. After Wu Tu entered, he immediately saw Zhou in the distance. He was stunned for a moment before he immediately got off his horse and ran to Zhou. "I've something to report, my lord. Wu Tu is back." He bowed respectfully. "How was your harvest today?" Zhou asked. "I've already drawn the regional map of Thorn Dune. I've also figured out the general situation of the few unclaimed areas in the vicinity," Wu Tu said respectfully. "Let's talk at my mansion," Zhou immediately said after hearing Wu Tu's words. Wu Tu replied respectfully and followed Zhou back to the Lord's residence. Chapter 139 Natural Disaster Forbidden Zone. Organizing the Harvest. Lord's Residence. In the study, Zhou looked at the map of Thorn Dune in front of him. Regional map name: Thorn Dune map. Current exploration rate: 3%. Map quality: black iron tier. Total area: 315 square kilometers. Map introduction. This map has the rough terrain of Thorn Dune and related map information. It includes the range of scattered monsters, the range and location of the Scarlet Lord's territory. The area of this Black Iron Tier territory is even smaller than the Blazing Sun Desert and Sandgold Land. However, such a small place actually has so many factions distributed. Zhou clicked his tongue as he looked at the many red dots on the map of Thorn Dune. The regional Lord Scarlet Lord, Sand Corpse Lord, was the largest Scarlet Lord faction amongst them. There were 5 ordinary Scarlet Lord factions with Black Iron Tier territories. Other than that, there was also a Lord of Foreign Race and a Human Lord faction on Cerulean Planet. I've finally encountered a second Human Lord faction on Cerulean Planet. Zhou's gaze landed on the red dot of the Human Lord faction on Cerulean Planet. This Human Lord faction was called Thorn City. The territory level was Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade. He had about 200 military professionals under him. According to Wu Tu's description, most of his 200-odd military professionals were obtained by buying slaves from Fish Spring Town. He did not know where the other party got so many miscores to buy so many military professionals slaves. Zhou looked at the 8 Lord factions on the map and thought of something. There were too many little jerks. No matter how many bastards there are. And a fisherman's prey. I'll go to Thorn Dune tomorrow to catch these assholes here. Zhou made up his mind. The day after tomorrow was the day of the Myriad Races Lord Battlefield event. He had to think of a way to increase his strength and power before the day after tomorrow. Moreover, with his current power, these 8 Lord factions combined were probably not enough for him to defeat. Heaven had given it to him, but he had been punished instead. Naturally, he would not give up the opportunity to swallow this fat piece of meat in front of him. Tell me about the surrounding unclaimed areas. After Zhou understood the situation in Thorn Dune, he looked up at Wu Tu and said, "Yes, my lord." Wu Tu said respectfully and took out a second map. This map was not a map of a specific region, but a rough map of the region. It roughly depicted the area within a radius of nearly 10,000 square kilometers of Blazing Sun City. Zhou looked at the map. There were a total of 5 areas drawn on it. The centermost part was the Blazing Sun City range that already included the Blazing Sun Desert and the Sandgold Land. To its right was Thorn Dune, while the area on the left was Fish Spring Town. Directly below was a green bronze tier natural disaster zone, the Sandstorm Forbidden Zone. Below the Sandstorm Forbidden Land was a white silver tier area. As for the area directly above, it had not been explored yet, so it was an unknown area for the time being. Zhou frowned slightly. Fish Spring Town was a town under the Aurora Kingdom. He was getting along quite well with the Aurora Kingdom, so he naturally would not provoke the Aurora Kingdom after dealing with Thorn Dune. There was an unknown area directly above Blazing Sun City, so he didn't think about it for the time being. Directly below was a green bronze tier forbidden area. Sandstorm Forbidden Land. What's going on with this forbidden area? Zhou asked Wu Tu directly. I've something to report, my lord. The so-called Forbidden Zone of Natural Disasters. It refers to an extraordinary tier natural disaster in a certain regional territory or many regional territories that life forms can't interfere with, change or restore. This kind of extraordinary tier natural disaster is different from normal natural disasters. Once certain regional territories are confirmed as forbidden areas for natural disasters, it often means that there are extraordinary tier factors involved in the natural disasters in these areas. For example, this green bronze tier, Sandstorm Forbidden Land. If it were a normal natural disaster, it would at most manifest as a short-term sandstorm disaster. But in addition to normal sandstorms, there are natural disasters such as elemental riots of wind elements and earth elements. Even if it's a green bronze tier professionals, once they're swept into the sandstorm here, I'm afraid they won't even last for 15 minutes before they're torn apart by the violent wind and earth elemental energy inside. If Black Iron tier professionals enter, they will die instantly. Only existences above the White Silver tier can get through here safely. However, we can't stay for long. Otherwise, it's very easy for accidents to happen. There was once a White Platinum tier adventurer who stayed here for a day and night and never came back. That's because this place is extremely dangerous to life forms and doesn't have much value in occupying it. Even powerful countries are not interested in occupying such areas. They don't even want it for free. That's why the countries on the high continent call this area a forbidden area because of the natural disasters. Wu Tu said. Zhou frowned. Most of his soldiers were at the Black Iron tier and Green Bronze tier. If what Wu Tu said was true, wouldn't he be completely helpless against this area? Then how did you cross this area and know that there was another area behind it? Zhou suddenly thought of something and asked Wu Tuesday. This sandstorm forbidden land has existed for decades. Professionals have already explored a sandstorm one-person pathway. I passed through this road alone and found out that there was a White Silver tier area behind it, Wu Tu said. You alone? You're bold enough. Zhou looked at him in surprise. I've something to report, my lord. This sandstorm forbidden land has already been tried by many people. Even though there are some failures, most life forms have successfully passed through it. I've checked the past information of those who passed through it and summarized their experience. Only then did I dare to try, Wu Tu said calmly. Zhou looked at him. He realized that this young man's eyes and actions actually had the calm temperament of an adult after not seeing him for a few days. How rare. Zhou sighed. At the same time, he admired him even more. The young man in front of him had already surpassed most adults in many ways. Well done, Zhou praised. Then he took out a bottle of extraordinary tier potential advancement potion from his spatial ring and handed it to him. This is for you. Work hard in the future. I won't mistreat you, Zhou said. Wu Tu was already dead loyal to him. In addition, he had done his job so well. He was naturally willing to spend a lot of money to nurture him. Wu Tu was stunned. When he saw the potion in his hand, his eyes immediately became filled with disbelief. Thank you for the reward, my lord. Wu Tu immediately knelt down and said excitedly. At this moment, his face was flushed red, revealing his youthful nature. Zhou went forward to help him up. In the future, continue to explore all the unknown regions and territories around Blazing Sun City. It would naturally be best if we could draw a map of all their regions. Also, if there are any new developments in the future, report to me anytime. The mission to light up the map around the territory will depend on you. Zhou patted his shoulder, looking like he was entrusted with a big responsibility. Even though Wu Tu did not understand the meme of lighting up the map, he could understand the general meaning of this sentence. Therefore, he agreed without hesitation. Zhou acknowledged. A moment later, Wu Tu left. Zhou looked at the map for a while before walking out of the Lord's residence. He first came to Monster Ranch and found Mugu. Just as he thought, Gus Monster Ranch had also advanced from the Green Bronze Tier Advanced Grade Monster Ranch Master and the Green Bronze Tier Advanced Grade Monster Shepherd to the White Silver Tier Elementary Grade Monster Ranch Master and the White Silver Tier Elementary Grade Monster Shepherd when he was upgrading this territory. All his skills had advanced from Green Bronze Tier Advanced Grade to White Silver Tier Elementary Grade. Moreover, he could already manage 7 monster ranches at the same time. The upper limit of the number of monsters cultivated in each White Silver Tier Elementary Grade Monster Ranch had also increased from 1,250 to 1,500. Moreover, the upper limit of the monster cultivated would also increase from Green Bronze Tier Advanced Grade to White Silver Tier Elementary Grade. Zhou was aware of this. He asked him to bring a group of soldiers and architects to upgrade the 4 Green Bronze Tier Advanced Grade Monster Ranches to White Silver Tier Elementary Grade before tomorrow morning. In addition, he would build 3 new monster ranches as backup. In this way, Gu could nurture 6,000 fog monsters every day in the future. It greatly increased his fixed daily income. Zhou returned immediately after settling Gus matters. He did not return to the Lord's residence. Instead, he came to Ashburn and showed him the Yellow Gold Tier Advanced Grade Mist Energy Cannon blueprint, asking if he could learn it. Ashburn was shocked that Zhou could find the Mist Energy Cannon's alchemy technology product blueprint. However, he still shook his head. "My apologies, my lord. I'm only a Green Bronze Tier Advanced Grade alchemy technician now, not even a White Silver Tier alchemy technician. Therefore, I can't learn this blueprint for the time being," he said with some regret and shame. If possible, he did not want to disappoint the Lord. He also wanted to learn how to make this rare Mist Energy Cannon technology, but he really couldn't learn it. Zhou was a little disappointed but not overly so. Ashburn was able to break through to the Green Bronze Tier Advanced Grade alchemy technician in such a short period of time. This was already beyond his expectations. He could not ask for too much. It's a pity that this Yellow Gold Tier Advanced Grade Mist Energy Cannon blueprint is wasted. I can only find an opportunity to use it in the future, Zhou thought. Then, he returned to the Lord's residence and sorted out all the gains from the Novice Lord test. The loots from corpses of more than 70,000 fire demons had finally been extracted at noon today. Putting aside the loots that he had calculated before, under the influence of the perfect loots, the remaining loots were 66,897 Green Bronze Tier Mist Cores, 3,376 White Silver Tier Mist Cores, 514 Yellow Gold Tier Mist Cores, 52 White Platinum Tier Mist Cores, 59,094 Green Bronze Tier Abyss Crystals, 1,876 White Silver Tier Abyss Crystals, 114 Yellow Gold Tier Abyss Crystals, 52 White Platinum Tier Abyss Crystals, 39,284 Green Bronze Tier Abyss Contract Books, 21,082 White Silver Tier Abyss Contract Books, 12,151 Yellow Gold Tier Abyss Contract Books, 14 White Platinum Tier Abyss Contract Books, 3,798 bottles of Green Bronze Tier Potential Advancement Potion, 374 bottles of White Silver Tier Potential Advancement Potion, 12 bottles of Yellow Gold Tier Potion, 10 bottles of White Platinum Tier Potential Advancement Potion, 2 spatial rings with a capacity of 100 cubic meters and 1,000 cubic meters respectively. Other than that, the Novice Lord test also brought 438 Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade Life Profession Talents to his territory, 30 Green Bronze Tier Advanced Grade Life Profession Talents, 18 White Silver Tier Advanced Grade Life Profession Talents, 18 Yellow Gold Tier Advanced Grade Life Profession Talents. As for the unused Supreme Challenge Immunity card, it had also become a useless souvenir after the Supreme Challenge. Other than that, there was also a large number of basic and some high-level resources from the resource bag. After calculating his gains, Zhou did not stay up late and returned to his bedroom to rest. Chapter 140 Farmer Professional. The Performance of a Soul Reaper. The next morning, in the master bedroom, Zhou woke up. He subconsciously opened the World Channel and saw the lords discussing the battleground of the myriad races Lord Battlefield tomorrow. The event is starting tomorrow, but I feel that my military strength is still not enough. What should I do? Classic lack of firepower phobia. Actually, you can try to negotiate with the local forces and get them to help you. Poor. How can I have the capital to negotiate with those local big shots? Boo-hoo. Are you stupid? Have you forgotten the marketplace? The marketplace is actually an extremely generous resource to most lords without the talent of a lord or low-level lord. It's very simple to use it and negotiate with the local forces to obtain some help. Indeed, in my opinion, if the marketplace is a lord talent, it is at least an epic tier lord talent. More or less. We can buy some cerulean planet specialties from the exchange and sell them to the local forces. It's very easy to accumulate a batch of funds, but we have to choose the specialties well. The local forces won't be stupid to buy things that duplicate the effects of local products. Brain. I understand. Practical operation. What do you know? I obtained a batch of initial funds by reselling the things in the exchange. I already have a mist core and a slave subject. I envy all the big shots who can do business. I haven't encountered any local forces yet. Another day I miss Big Boss Blazing Sunday. Previous poster. Are you thinking about Big Boss Blazing Sun? You're just coveting his soldier class change certificate. I'm too embarrassed to say it. Jojo looked at the words of these lords thoughtfully. These lords are right. The marketplace could indeed be used as a public resource for all the lords. If he used it well, it might not be inferior to those lords with extraordinary tier and epic tier lord talents. However, the extent to which he used it also depended on one's ability. He suddenly thought of the Thorn Lord in Thorn Dune. Could it be that the reason why the other party could have more than 200 military professions at this stage was because the other party used the resources of the marketplace to earn profits and bought so many slaves? He thought only for a moment before he stopped because there were no other clues. After that, Jojo washed up briefly and walked out of the Lord's courtyard to the gate of summoning. A text notification appeared. Prompt. Do you want to summon immediately? Yes, Jojo said. The next second, the gate of summoning suddenly lit up with a bright white light. Then new subjects walked out in teams. After 3 to 4 minutes, all the new subjects walked out of the gate of summoning. Greetings, my lord. X-189. The 189 new subjects said respectfully. Hello everyone. From today onwards, you are the subjects of Blazing Sun City. Jojo said. When the 189 people heard this, yearning appeared in most of their eyes. The remaining subjects were under the influence of the peace and prosperity of the country. Even though there was no expression on his face, he was looking forward to the lives of his subjects. Professionals, stand up. Jojo looked at everyone. A few seconds later, 16 subjects stood up from the crowd. Jojo looked at the 16 people, with a total of 10 men and 6 women. Among them, there was a white silver tier elementary grade chef, a white silver tier elementary grade martial master, and a white silver tier elementary grade carpenter. In addition, there were 5 green bronze tier advanced grade blacksmiths, 3 green bronze tier intermediate grade doctors, 1 green bronze tier elementary grade tailor, 1 black iron tier advanced grade merchant, 2 black iron tier intermediate grade farmers, and 1 black iron tier elementary grade blacksmith. Jojo looked at the 2 farmers and could not help but sigh. There were finally farmers. In fact, when they first arrived in the high continent, many lords had summoned farmers on their first day. But he was different. He had finally summoned farmers on the 10th day. Fortunately, my territory is not suitable for racial crops. Otherwise, if my territory is a land with fertile soil but I haven't been able to summon farmers, won't I be depressed? Jojo could not help but think. Then, he looked at their interface information. Subject. Way, territory. Blazing Sun City. Life profession. Farmer. Profession class. Black iron tier intermediate grade ability overview. A farmer from the Aurora Kingdom's light protected plains. He has a timid and introverted personality. His dream is to complete his wish to buy a house, marry a wife, and be exempt from military service by farming. In the end, he will become a rich farmer that the same village envies. Skills. Black iron tier intermediate grade rice cultivation. Black iron tier intermediate grade farmland conservation. Loyalty. 77 potential. White silver tier advanced grade. the other farmer had the same skills as him, but his potential was white silver tier elementary grade. Then, Zhou found an assistant nurtured by Elder Zheng, and asked him to arrange their respective locations according to their abilities and the current work needs of the territory. Then, he gathered the remaining 3,000-odd professionals, one Soul Reaper, and Nazario in the territory to the monster ranch. "Greetings, my lord." Mu Gu and Zhao Changshu, who had been waiting at the entrance of the ranch, immediately said respectfully when they saw Zhou bring people over. Zhou acknowledged. Then he looked at the smiling Zhao Changshu and clearly felt that his smile was not ordinary. "What makes you so happy, Elder Zhao?" Zhou asked curiously. "I've something to report, my lord. Last night, I heard that Mu Gu was going to build a white silver tier elementary grade monster ranch here, so I immediately came over to help. These 7 white silver tier elementary grade monster ranches have been built after a night of construction. In addition, I've already broken through the upper limit of my potential and reached the new architect realm. I'm already a diamond tier elementary grade architect." When Zhao Changshu said this, the smile on his face involuntarily deepened. He had finally broken through to the realm he had always dreamed of. And all of this was all thanks to his lord. Thinking of this, he could not help but feel even more grateful to Zhou. Zhou was also very surprised. He opened the other party's attribute panel. He realized that the other party's life profession class column had indeed shown that he was a diamond tier elementary grade. "Elder Zhao, with your current level, what rank would you be in the Aurora Kingdom?" Zhou asked. "There were only 2 white platinum tier advanced grade architects in the Aurora Kingdom before I left the Aurora Kingdom and joined my lord. Moreover, both of them have already reached the upper limit of their potential. So as long as no other architect breaks through to the diamond tier in the next 10 days, then I should be the number 1 architect in the Aurora Kingdom." Zhao Changshu smiled. Zhou also smiled and nodded. Then he looked at the monster ranch in front of him. The 7 monster ranches in front of him were a third larger than the original green bronze tier advanced grade monster ranches. Moreover, the monster patterns on their fence became clearer. However, he could not see what monster was engraved on it for the time being. The 3 monster ranches were idle in these 7 monster ranches. Each of the remaining 4 monster ranches had 1,500 ranch monsters. From black iron tier elementary grade to white silver tier elementary grade. Zhou was no exception. He directly asked Nazario to use dragon might to control the monsters in 3 of the monster ranches, and let the soldiers deal with them one by one. He brought the Soul Reaper to the monster ranch of the Sandstorm Believers. "Take care of them. Let me see your ability." Zhou looked at Maris and said. He was very curious about the actual performance of this Divine Kingdom level soldier type on the battlefield. "Yes, my lord," Maris said respectfully. Then it sat cross-legged on the ground and placed the huge black scythe in its hand on its knees. Then it closed its eyes. A few seconds later, the soul of Maris, who was surrounded by a black aura of death and wearing a black cloak, holding a huge black sickle in both hands, flew out of its body and floated in the air. An invisible might came from its body. Zhou's pupils constricted slightly when he sensed this might. He actually felt that it was not much inferior to Bai Yi and Wu Xin's hero pressure. However, it was only a black iron tier elementary grade non-hero. Zhou felt that it was unbelievable. At this moment, Maris bowed respectfully to Zhou before looking at the 1,500 Sandstorm Believers. After observing for a few seconds, it flew over with the black sickle in its hand. At this moment, the 1,500 Wild Sand Believers in the Monster Ranch could not see Maris in his soul state at all, let alone realize that danger was approaching them. Soon Maris flew in front of a black iron tier elementary grade Wild Sand Believer. It only waved the huge black scythe in its hand slightly, and the soul of an unconscious Wild Sand Believer was hooked out by the scythe and fused into it. The huge black sickle lit up with a faint red light. The Wild Sand Believer fell to the ground and stopped breathing. The entire killing process took less than a second. Then, Maris came to the second black iron tier elementary grade Wild Sand Believer, and repeated his previous actions to kill it. In the following period of time, one by one, the Wild Sand Believer were easily killed by Maris. Its movements were so relaxed. It did not seem to be reaping lives. Instead, he was cutting the grass with his sickle. Soon, this phenomenon was seen by the other wild sand believers in the monster ranch. They watched as their companions died in front of them for no reason. There were not even any wounds on their bodies. No matter how low their intelligence was, they were still panicking. But this was useless. The silent death continued. More than a minute later, Maris, which had killed nearly 300 sandstorm believers, suddenly stopped. Then an even stronger power came from its soul. It had broken through. It was already a Black Iron Tier Intermediate Grade Soul Reaper. This also meant that it could already include the Black Iron Tier Intermediate Wild Sand believers in its killing range. More than 6 minutes later, Masri, who had already advanced to the Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade, returned to its body with the huge black sickle. Then it woke up. "My lord, my god of death scythe is already filled with souls. These souls need me to send them to the netherworld one by one before I can continue harvesting the souls of the enemy. So I want to apply to rest for a while," Maris said respectfully. "It's okay, rest first. Leave the remaining monsters to others to deal with. Save your strength to deal with the enemies later." Jojo suppressed the shock in his heart and nodded. "Yes, my lord," Maris said respectfully. Then it closed its eyes and placed its hands on the god of death scythe to pray. During the prayer process, the light of the already red and shiny god of death scythe also began to gradually fade. Jojo retracted his gaze and looked at the monster ranch of the wild sand believers. The original 1,500 wild sand believers were only left with more than 400 green bronze and white silver tier. The other 1,000 black iron tier wild sand believers had all been turned into soulless corpses without any wounds by Maris. Killed more than 1,000 wild sand believers in 8 minutes. So this is a Divine Kingdom tier soldier type? Jojo could not help but click his tongue. Chapter 141 over 10,000 soldiers. Opening the trade route. Jojo was not only shocked. The speed of Soul Reaper's growth also surprised him. He had seen the skills of the Soul Reaper and knew how this Divine Kingdom soldier type grew. The Divine Kingdom tier talent, Soul Absorption, was the main reason why it could grow so quickly. The so-called Soul Absorption referred to the process of Soul Reapers harvesting souls. They could absorb a trace of pure soul power from the other party's soul, and fuse it into their own soul to accelerate their growth. Could be said that, as long as there was enough soul harvest, the Soul Reaper would be able to increase its strength rapidly without any bottlenecks until it reached the upper limit of its potential. A Soul Reaper is already so terrifying. In that case, how terrifying would the god of death Thanatos, who has the Soul Reaper Legion, be? Jojo could not help but think. The final summary of the Soul Reaper recruitment book stated that they had terrified countless god spirits at their peak. He felt that it was a little exaggerated when he first read it. But now Jojo felt that these words were probably not empty words. A moment later, 6,000 ranch monsters were all dealt with. Jojo took out 10 conquerors' blast furnaces to extract the spoils of war from their corpses. Half an hour later, the loots were extracted from all 6,000 monster corpses. Under the influence of the perfect loots, other than the +1 monster flesh, skill book, potion formula, poison sac, black scorpion poison crossbow, and other normal items, he obtained 25,982 green bronze tier mist cores, 3,678 white silver tier mist cores, 144 yellow gold tier mist cores, a total of 5,784 class change certificates for the 3 types of soldier types. There were also 1,006 sword shield soldier recruitment books, 945 poison crossbow soldier recruitment books, 1,002 Pudeo soldiers recruitment books, 4,212 kilograms of light drawing crystal. Jojo looked at these gains and was very satisfied. As the monster ranch advanced to the white silver tier elementary grade, under the effect of the perfect loots, the monster ranch could already give him yellow gold tier loots. Then he handed the light drawing crystal to Zhao Changshu and the others to deal with. Then, he led his men to clean up another side of the time ruins. After emerging from the time ruins, Jojo obtained another batch of bronze-level Fire Demon Fogwolf outfit, 4,926 green bronze tier mist cores, 20 white silver tier mist cores, and 384 elemental archer recruitment books. Then Zhou took these soldier-type recruitment books and went to the Gate of Summoning. He threw all of them into the Gate of Summoning. A moment later, a total of 3,349 military professionals stood neatly in front of Zhou. They all looked at their lord with serious expressions. Zhou could not help but take a deep breath. He had gained more than 3,000 military professionals in a day. If it was in the past, his territory really could not hold so many soldiers. However, that was different now. He continued on to the golem lair, and summoned 126 golem soldier types. When we attacked the golem territory yesterday, we sacrificed a total of 132 military professionals. My soldiers went down to 9,789. Today we added 3,349 more today. In addition to the 252 golem soldier types I recruited yesterday and today, the number of soldiers under my command has officially exceeded 10,000, reaching 13,390. Zhou was quite satisfied with his achievement. In just 10 days he had over 10,000 military professionals under his command. He believed that he was probably second to none among the lords of the cerulean planet. After a while, the soldier types under him could increase to 50,000, 100,000, or even hundreds of thousands. At this moment, a carriage rushed over from afar. The carriage suddenly stopped when they were still some distance away from Zhou. Then an old man alighted from it and walked straight to Zhou. "Greetings, my lord." "I'm back," Zhang Yuanqi said respectfully. "Elder Zhang, you've worked hard. How did your trip go?" Zhou nodded and asked. "I didn't let you down." Zhang Bowen has always been passionate about developing Fish Spring Town. In addition, his teacher, has appeared before him. Therefore, he almost immediately agreed after I mentioned the establishment of the trade route. After saying that, Zhang Yuanqi took out a map and handed it to Zhou with both hands. Zhou took it. He realized that this was a regional map. The rough terrain around Blazing Sun City and Fish Spring Town was drawn on it. On this map, 8 green lines connected Blazing Sun City, Fish Spring Town, and Sand Gold City. These 8 green lines are the trade routes that I and Zhang Ben have discussed together. They can be used normally and are safer. Merchants, convoys, and even normal pedestrians can use these 8 trade routes to travel back and forth between the 3 cities. The premise is that no fog monsters will appear near these trade routes. Zhang Yuanqi said. There are no longer any wild fog monsters in the Blazing Sun Desert. The scattered fog monsters have long been dealt with. The scattered fog monsters in the Sand Gold Land should be dealt with today. Fish Spring Town should have already dealt with all the fog monsters, Zhou said. After today, these trade routes can be officially activated. After Zhang Yuanqi finished speaking, the two of them looked at each other and saw the joy in each other's eyes. Especially Zhou. What he valued were not just these 8 safe trade routes, but the meaning behind the 8 trade routes. As long as the merchants in his territory could safely enter Fish Spring Town through these 8 trade routes, they could enter the other regional cities of the Aurora Kingdom that bordered Fish Spring Town. Therefore, it did not just open a route to Fish Spring Town but the entire Aurora Kingdom. "Thank you, Elder Zhang," Zhou said seriously. "My lord, you're being too serious. This is just my duty." Zhang Yuanqi chuckled. "Elder Zhang, the administrative hall has been established. It's right where you reserved it. You can take a look and arrange how you are going to use this building." Zhou nodded and thought of the administrative hall. Zhang Yuanqi's eyes lit up. Then, he immediately bade farewell to Zhou and headed towards the administrative hall. Zhou also went to look for Qian Jiangsheng, wanting to bring him to Sand Gold City and let him be the city lord. Actually, his previous idea was to choose a mysterious merchant from the mysterious merchant team and let him be the city lord of Sand Gold City. However, after the more professional former finance minister, Qian Jiangsheng, arrived, he immediately changed his mind and made him the city lord. When Qian Jiangsheng heard this request, he thought only for a moment and agreed readily. This job could indeed allow him to unleash his abilities. Afterwards, Zhou left 3,390 military professionals in the territory to protect Blazing Sun City. Meanwhile, he brought Qian Jiangsheng, Nazario, Maris, and the remaining 5,000 military professionals to Desolate City to meet up with Bai Yi and Wuxia. Chapter 142 Zhou Plan. Attack the Thorn Dune. The army led by Zhou was currently advancing on one of the 8 trade routes that Elder Zheng had mentioned. Zhou was sitting in a carriage with Elder Qian and observed the situation outside. He realized that the terrain was really very flat compared to other places. As Elder Zheng said, there was no need for repairs to allow pedestrians and carriages to move normally on the road. He retracted his gaze and waved his right hand. A heavy box appeared in front of Elder Qian. Elder Qian, there are 1,000 yellow gold tier mist cores inside. They can be used as funding for your work after you take over. You can just use them to perfect the development of Sand Gold City. Also, there's some wealth there which you can also use freely. If it's not enough, you can apply to Blazing Sun City at any time. Zhou said. The Sand Gold City had yet to become a true commercial city. He had to spend some money in the early stages if he wanted to do this. That was why he took out so many yellow gold tier mist cores. Honestly, so many yellow gold tier mist cores was not a small sum even for him. Don't worry, my lord. It's enough for me with so many mist cores. If I do need more mist cores, I'll just establish the taxes of the Sand Gold City to develop the city when the time comes. As for the specific income and expenditure, I will hand it over to the Lord every month, Qian Jiangsheng said confidently. As a former kingdom-level finance minister, he had done similar things before he climbed to that position. He had even experienced more difficult environments and handled them very well. Therefore, he was still confident. Don't worry, Elder Qian, Zhou acknowledged. Then, he looked in the direction of the Sand Gold City and thought about his future development. In his plan, Sand Gold City would be the first image that Blazing Sun City had established to the outside world. It would appear in the vision of the living beings of the High Continent. Blazing Sun City itself remained in a closed-off state. Only subjects were allowed to enter and leave. No large-scale outsiders were allowed to enter. They could let 1 or 2 outsiders in if they were without any ill intentions. For example, the princess from the Aurora Kingdom, who would arrive at some point in time. Blazing Sun City was his base camp after all. There would be many of his secrets here in the future with the mythical tier talent of the King of Lutes. The subjects were loyal to him. He could let them come into contact with some secrets without worry. But outsiders? He would not let them come into contact with any secrets. This might attract the guesses of the life forms outside. But in a dangerous place like the High Continent, Zhou felt that there was nothing wrong with being more mysterious. An hour later, Zhou and the others arrived at Sand Gold City, more than half an hour in advance with the advantage of the trade route. Sand Gold City. In the Lord's courtyard. Greetings, my lord. Zhang Kaishan and his brother said respectfully. Zhou nodded. After a few simple words, he introduced Qian Jiangsheng to them. This is Qian Jiangsheng, Elder Qian. He was the former finance minister of the Aurora Kingdom. He will be in charge of Sand Gold City. The 2 of you will focus on listening to Elder Qian and develop Sand Gold City well. Do you understand? He said. Yes, my lord. The 2 of them said respectfully. Then they couldn't help but look at Qian Jiangsheng. They have heard about his reputation since they were young. If they were to rank the people who had contributed to the development of the Aurora Kingdom in the past 50 years, this person could definitely enter the top 5. They did not expect their lord to be able to invite this big shot over. Zhang Kaishan and his brother were completely convinced. However, their expressions soon became strange. They remembered that the previous great general of the Aurora Kingdom, Wuxia, and one of the 3 previous prime ministers, Zhang Yuanqi, were also in Blazing Sun City and were holding extremely important positions. Our lord seems to be very good at poaching talents? The 2 of them muttered in their hearts. Zhou naturally did not know what the 2 of them were thinking. After chatting with the 3 of them about the development of Sand Gold City and the business path, he left to look for Bai Yi and Wuxia in the tent of the military camp. After Zhou saw Bai Yi and Wuxia, he told them about his plan to take down Thorn Dune today, and handed them a copy of the regional map. After watching for a while, the 2 of them told Zhou the judgment that they could attack. Zhou was not surprised. With his current strength, He had a high chance of winning even if it was a green bronze tier area. Not to mention a mere black iron tier area. I've something to say, my lord. Just as Zhou Zhou and Wu Exine were about to take action, Bai gritted her teeth and suddenly said, "What is it?" Zhou Zhou was stunned. Wu Exine also stopped. "I want to give the position of Legion Commander of the Blazing Sun Army to Elder Wu. My lord, please approve." Bai lowered her head and said. The two of them were stunned as soon as these words were spoken. "Why do you say that?" Zhou Zhou frowned. "My lord, Elder Wu is far better than me. In terms of strength, experience and confidence in the army, I feel that I'm far inferior to old Wu in terms of leading troops in battle. Continuing to be in the position of Legion Commander will only make me feel more inferior. In addition, this is also irresponsible to the other brothers and sisters in the army. That's why I made such a request to my lord." Bai said sincerely. "Elder Wu, what do you think?" Zhou Zhou could understand her thoughts. However, he did not voice his thoughts. Instead, he looked at Wu Exine. "I think Legion Commander Bai should continue. It'll just be a deputy commander." Wu Exine chuckled. "Why? With your ability, you can definitely have a better position and lead the Blazing Sun Army to a more glorious future." Bai couldn't help but ask. "I've only led soldiers for 50 more years than you. When I was your age, I didn't even get to see a hero. And you're a hero before you were 20. Don't think you're not good enough. If you're not outstanding, what will the other people think? Moreover, I'm already old. My future achievement is destined to be limited. You're young and you became a hero at such a young age. You're the one who can truly bring the Blazing Sun Army to greater heights as a Legion Commander. Furthermore, the position of Legion Commander can also train you and allow you to grow faster. I don't want to steal your glory," Wu Exine said seriously. Bai was speechless. What a powerful talker. Zhou Zhou, who was already convinced, could not help but think. "As for the abilities you don't know yet, I can teach you if you want to learn." Wu Exine smiled at Bai. Bai did not react for a moment. "Aren't you going to address him as your teacher?" Zhou Zhou reminded. Only then did Bai react and immediately bowed respectfully to Wu Exine. When Wu Exine saw this, he immediately felt extremely comfortable. "I'm a hero now and I have a disciple who is a hero but not even 20 years old yet. This achievement is probably second to none in the history of human heroes, right?" He had to tell old Zheng when he got back. This old fellow usually flaunted how many disciples he had and how outstanding they were. Now, this disciple of mine is equivalent to 100 of them. No, at least 1,000. Let's see how he refutes this time. Wu Exine had already thought of how to show off in front of Zheng Yuanqi. Elder Wu, the Aurora Kingdom's imperial physician, Elder Bai Yuejing, also came to Blazing Sun City today and became a subject of Blazing Sun City. Can he treat your injuries? Zhou Zhou asked his own question, seeing that this episode had passed. Old Bai is here too, Wu Exine said subconsciously. He shook his head. I'm an old acquaintance with Old Bai. However, Old Bai can only ease my injuries and make me feel better when my injuries relapse. It's impossible to heal. My injuries can only be healed by legendary tier doctor professionals or physician heroes. Those below this level can't do anything to my injuries, Wu Exine said. How did you get these injuries? Zhou Zhou could not help but ask. It was caused by a scarlet hero from the Taiyan Kingdom, Wu Exine said. Zhou Zhou stopped probing. 15 minutes later, a total of 10,000 soldiers had gathered at the entrance of Sand Gold City. His lordship will definitely win today's battle, Zhang Kaishan shouted from the city wall. The other soldiers stationed in Sand Gold City also roared and cheered. Zhou Zhou smiled. Then he set off with the soldiers. At the same time, Thorndune, the territory of the human lord of Cerulean planet, the Thorn Lord. Thorn Lord Zhang Yud was sitting on a recliner, watching the chat in the Sun Extermination Association chat group. He would write some words to encourage the other lords in the Sun Extermination Association to gather and eliminate the Lord of the Blazing Sun from time to time. As for these comments, when the other lords in the Sun Extermination Association saw this, they either pretended not to see it or comforted him. Thorn Lord, don't worry. Tomorrow is the Myriad Races Lord Battlefields event. Why would the Lord of the Blazing Sun come out to find the enemy to exhaust his troops? That's right, old Zhang. Don't worry. You're very safe. What are you afraid of? When the Myriad Races Lord battlefield begins, we will definitely help you eliminate the Lord of the Blazing Sun. After reading it, Zhang Yud immediately closed the chat group indignantly. Talk is cheap. You're not the closest to the Lord of the Blazing Sun's territory. We agreed to help each other when I established the Sun Extermination Association. In the end, no one was willing to help me now after knowing that I was the closest to the Lord of the Blazing Sun's territory. Zhang Yud opened the group chat again and wanted to leave. However, he looked at the option of leaving the group chat and hesitated for a long time. In the end, he did not press it. After a long time, he closed the group chat screen in front of him and let out a long sigh. I hope the Lord of the Blazing Sun really won't come. 3 hours later. I've something to report, my lord. There's an unfamiliar army outside. They've already surrounded Thorn City. There are about 10,000 of them. The leader claims to be the Lord of the Blazing Sun. My lord, what should we do? A scout rushed to Zhang Yud, who was sleeping on the recliner, and said in a panic. Zhang Yud, who was originally sleepy, immediately sat up when he heard this. He widened his eyes and looked at the scout in front of him. What? Chapter 143 The Potential of a Lord. Zhang Yud looked at the scout in front of him as if he had been struck by lightning. He stayed for a moment, then he rushed towards the city wall like a madman. After arriving at the city wall, he climbed up the 3-meter-tall city wall and stuck his head out to look outside the city wall. And then, he almost fainted, because he saw a black mass of heads outside the city wall with almost no end to it. Moreover, most of them were military professionals wearing soldier-type armors. The others also wore some standard equipment and outfits that he did not recognize. The most ridiculous thing was, he even saw a group of monsters that were at least 4 to 5 meters tall standing together with other human military professionals. Zhang Yud's legs went weak facing the pressure of 10,000 military professionals. Why are there so many people? Why does the Lord of the Blazing Sun have so many military professionals? How is this possible? His eyes were filled with disbelief. The 11 Lords of the Sun Extermination Association added up to about 3,000 military professionals. They felt that they could easily destroy the Lord of the Blazing Sun. He had even thought of how to split the Lord of the Blazing Sun's wealth in advance. Now that he thought about it again, he felt that it was a huge mockery. 3,000 against 10,000 military professionals. What could he use to fight? Should he hit him with his head? And how did they get here so fast? The Myriad Races Lord Battlefield event is starting tomorrow. Shouldn't the Lord of the Blazing Sun be busy preparing for tomorrow's event? Zhang Yud muttered. After he came back to his senses, he immediately opened the Sun Extermination Association chat group, wanting to tell them about the Lord of the Blazing Sun. However, he suddenly thought of the treatment he had received previously. After a long time, Zhang Yud's eyes flashed with resentment. I'm finished. You guys don't even think about running away. He whispered. Outside the city wall. Zhou looked at the 3-meter-tall city wall in the distance with a calm expression. The other party only had more than 200 military professionals. If he still didn't surrender, then he was willing to call the other party a warrior. That was indeed the case. A moment later, Thorn City's city gate was actually opened and a person walked out in a daze. It was Zhang Yud. He was followed by more than 400 people. Among them were more than 200 military professionals and more than 100 normal subjects. At this moment, they did not have any equipment on them. They arrived in front of Zhou barehanded. Big Boss Blazing Sunday. I surrender. I'm willing to tell you some information about the lords who wanted to harm you on the World Channel as long as you spare my life. Many of the lords I know are near the Aurora Kingdom. They can easily find you if they want to harm you. Zhang Yud said fearfully. Zhou raised his eyebrows. There are even unexpected gains? How do you know that? He asked. Because they established the Lord Alliance of the Sun Extermination Association. My territory is also very close to Big Boss Blazing Sun's territory, so I was forced to join. Zhang Yud said awkwardly. Tell me the details. Zhou said. Yes. Zhang Yud seemed to have seen some hope of survival, and immediately told Zhou everything about the Sun Extermination Association. Zhou clicked his tongue in wonder after listening to it. He did not expect these 11 lords to really rely on the lord function of the marketplace to earn more than 3,000 military professionals. However, this was naturally useless to him. Abandon your status as a lord. Join Blazing Sun City and become my subject. Then I'll learn about you from your previous subjects. If you're a morally corrupt scumbag, I won't keep you either. But as long as you're not and do what I said, I can spare your life. Zhou looked at him and said, I'll give up my status as a lord now. I'm also willing to become your subject. Also, Big Boss Blazing Sun, don't worry. Even though I'm not really a good person, I've never done anything bad. Zhang Yud was very confident in this aspect. After saying that, he immediately closed his eyes. 10 seconds later, he opened his eyes and looked at Zhou expectantly. Big Boss Blazing Sun, I've already given up my status as a lord. Zhou acknowledged. Then, he approved his application to join Blazing Sun City. Then, he opened the information on the other party's subject interface. Subject: Zhang Yud. Territory: Blazing Sun City. Profession class name: Adventure. Profession class: Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade Ability Overview. Originally one of the lords of the myriad races. Later, he surrendered to the Lord of the Blazing Sun and gave up his status as a lord. He became an adventurer and a subject of the Lord of the Blazing Sun. Skills: Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade Summon Thorn. Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade Swift Movement. Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade Fireball Spell. Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade Ice Wall Spell. Loyalty: 78. Potential: White Silver Tier Advanced Grade. Zhou looked at the other party's potential panel. He was certain of one thing. If he did not have the buff of a lord, there was no upper limit to a lord's potential. And if he lost his status as a lord, then his original upper limit of potential would be exposed, limiting his strength. The identity of a lord is probably the greatest treasure for us lords. Zhou could not help but think. Then he came in front of Zhang Yud and extended his right hand. Welcome to Blazing Sun City, he said. Seeing this, Zhang Yud quickly shook hands. At the same time, a virtual screen appeared in front of Zhou. Current stealable items: 1 Gradeless Adventurer Class Change Certificate. Stealing Success Rate: 100%. 1 Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade Skill Book. Summon Thorn. Stealing Success Rate: 100%. 9 Black Iron Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments. Stealing Success Rate: 100%. Zhou ignored these low-level skills and gave the order to steal the Black Iron Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments. The next second, 9 Black Iron Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments appeared out of thin air in his spatial ring. A smile appeared on Zhou's lips before disappearing. Can I really live? Zhang Yud said in disbelief, seeing that Zhou really had no intention of killing him. Zhou ignored him. Zhang Yud was even happier when he saw this. This meant that the other party really had no intention of killing him. As for his status as a lord, previously, he could not bear to part with his identity as a lord because he wanted to use this identity to make a name for himself in the High Continent. This was also the reason why he joined the Sun Extermination Association. However, losing his status as a lord was naturally nothing compared to losing his life. Not only that, he suddenly realized that he felt much more relaxed without his status as a lord. He seemed to have returned to his attitude when he was on the Cerulean planet. Perhaps he was really not cut out to be a lord. This thought suddenly appeared in his mind. A relieved smile appeared on Zhang Yud's face. At this moment he suddenly remembered something. Big Boss Blazing Sun, no my lord. When are we going to destroy those lords of the Cerulean planet who want to harm you? Especially those bastard lords from the Sun Extermination Association. I know the location of their territory. I can show you the way, he said excitedly. Zhou. Chapter 144: Attacking Thorn Dune. Sandcorp's Summoner Class Change Certificate. Zhou looked at Zhang Yud speechlessly. This guy would be a fence-sitter who would fall wherever the wind blew in the eyes of other lords. If he could treat his former ally like this today, He would do the same to his lord one day in the future. However, Zhou had the lord talent of peace and prosperity. The other party's loyalty would increase to 90 points sooner or later. Therefore, he was quite tolerant of such people. Tomorrow is the Myriad Races Lord Battlefield event. I don't have time to deal with them. Since they're planning to come after me during the event, then let's wait for them to come over themselves. I don't have to look for them one by one. Zhou shook his head. Yes, the Lord is right. This way we can still wait for them to tire themselves out. Zhang Yud reacted and hurriedly nodded. Zhou acknowledged. Then, under his request, Zhang Yud took out the bottle of extraordinary tier potential advancement potion, and the talent brought by the reputation rating that he had obtained after becoming an official lord. He was a white platinum tier elementary grade carpenter. After the other party announced in person that he had joined Blazing Sun City, he also became a subject of Blazing Sun City. Zhou was deep in thought. As the novice lord test ended, every official lord had obtained great benefits. The bottle of extraordinary tier potential advancement potion and talent attracted by reputation rating was enough to tempt other factions. In the past 2 days, many lords of Cerulean Planet on the World Channel had indeed said that many people of foreign races had come to attack their territory. The lords of Cerulean Planet had both wins and losses in this aspect. After the novice lord test, the situation of the lords of the myriad races seems to be better, but in fact, there are more dangers hidden in the dark because of the existence of the official lord's reward, especially those weaker lords. In the eyes of other powerful lords, it's simply a treasure that they can plunder at will. Zhou frowned slightly. It seemed that other than the threat of the myriad races Lord Battlefield's activities, the threat from the other lords was probably not weaker than this event. He thought for a moment and his expression quickly returned to normal. Fortunately, he was not weak, otherwise, he would probably be like those weak lords who could not sleep at night because of worry. Then he entered Thorn City and took the Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade Territory token from the Lord's Wooden House. Half an hour later, with the help of Bai Yi, Zhang Yud and the others, all the resources in Thorn City were sorted out. Zhou took a look and retracted his gaze. This was because he only had 50,000 to 60,000 units of basic resources, more than 100 Black Iron Tier Mist Cores, and 5 to 6 normal building blueprints. He was naturally not interested in this bit of resources. According to Zhang Yud, he knew that the Myriad Races Lord Battlefield would be held tomorrow. Therefore, he did not dare to hold back at all. Other than leaving more than 100 Black Iron Tier Mist Cores as backup, he used the remaining Mist Cores to buy these military professional slaves to increase the combat power of his territory. Zhou did not say anything. He did not let the new subjects from this city follow them. They still had to continue conquering the other Scarlet Lords and the lords of the people of foreign races after all. Therefore, he left behind 1,000 military professionals and asked them to bring these 400 new subjects and loot back to Sand Gold City. He could also supplement the number of residents in Sand Gold City and increase its popularity. He led the remaining 9,000 soldiers and rushed towards the Scarlet Lord's territory according to the shortest route. In the next 6 hours, Zhou led by Wuxia, Nazario, and 9,000 military professionals to attack 5 Scarlet Lord territories in Thorn Dune. These 5 Scarlet Lord territories were all ordinary Scarlet Lords that only had Black Iron Tier territories. Under the Scarlet Lord's command, there were at least 300 monster subjects and 1,000 monster subjects at most. They could not resist at all facing Zhou's 9,000 military professionals. They did not even need Bai Yi, Wuxia, and Nazario to take them down easily. Their loot were all skill books and equipment. For such fog monsters were not worthy of being protected by the monster ranch, Zhou was not interested in them. He directly dealt with them all and extracted the loots. He obtained a total of 5 Black Iron Tier territory tokens, 28 Green Bronze Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments, 12,562 Green Bronze Tier Mist Cores, 6,354 White Silver Tier Mist Cores, 1,550 Equipment, Green Bronze Tier White Silver Tier, 2,250 Skill Books, Green Bronze Tier White Silver Tier. After storing these loots in the Mechanostrider convoy, they immediately rushed to the territory of the regional lord, the Sand Corpse Lord. Behind a sand dune, Zhou looked at the territory of the Sand Corpse Lord in the distance. More than 3,000 sand corpses were wandering around the territory. They were from all kinds of races. There were humans, people of foreign races, and the monster races among the 5 Scarlet Lords that Zhou had just attacked. There was no lack of powerful races among them. Most of them were from Black Iron Tier to Green Bronze Tier. There would be a few White Silver Tier Sand Corpse subjects occasionally. They no longer looked like they were alive. Their entire bodies were wrapped in yellow sand, looking a little strange. Even though there aren't many of them, they are not weak. We can't underestimate them. Zhou looked rather serious. Then, he looked at the interface information of the weakest Sand Corpse and was stunned. Monster name: Sand Corpse. Strength level: Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade. Monster description: summoned by the Sand Corpse Summoner with the corpse, flesh, and mist core as the core. It gathers gravel and has the consciousness and memory of when it was alive. Even though its combat strength is weaker than when it was alive, its life-saving ability will be stronger. Loot's drop rate: 2 Black Iron Tier mist cores. Drop rate: 100%. Prompt: the loots will only drop the corresponding level of mist cores as it is a flesh-type summon creature. There will be no other level of loots. Zhou was a little surprised. So flesh-type summon creatures only dropped mist cores? He thought about it and felt that it made sense. If the summon creature could also drop the same loot as normal monsters, the summoner professionals in the High Continent would probably become the most popular profession in the entire continent. Who could reject an extraordinary tier class that could produce and sell itself? Then, he looked around the monster subjects. A moment later, he finally found a Sand Corpse Summoner among the Sand Corpses. Monster name: Sand Corpse Summoner Morton. Strength level: Green Bronze Tier Elementary Grade. Monster description: the Sand Corpse Summoner under the Sand Corpse Lord can summon a large number of summon creatures with living consciousness with the corpse's flesh and mist cores as the core. Loot's drop rate: 2 Green Bronze Tier mist core. Drop rate: 100%. 1 Gradeless Skill Book, Fresh Flesh. Drop rate: 30%. 1 Green Bronze Tier Elementary Grade Equipment Sand Corpse Staff. Drop rate: 5%. 1 Gradeless Sand Corpse Summoner Class Change Certificate. Drop rate: 0.1%. Zhou raised his eyebrows. This seems to be a worthy new member on his monster protection list. Chapter 145: Green Bronze Tier Scarlet Lord Talent Sphere. The Emperor of Sand Scepter Fragment reappears. By E. Oldwu. Attack. Remember to leave some alive for Monster Ranch. He looked at Bai Yi and Wu Xian beside him and said in a deep voice, "Yes, my lord." X2 The two of them said respectfully and led the way. Attack. Following Bai Yi's order, kill. Charge. Army formation Furry Array. Army formation Fire Array. Wu Xian rode on his dragon horse and led more than 5,000 sword shield soldiers, Pudeo soldiers, golems, and other close combat soldier types towards the 4,000 sand corpses. Bai Yi and the other 4,000 poison crossbow soldiers, elemental archers, and other long-range soldier types supported from the back. The 4,000 sand corpses quickly discovered them. All the sand corpses roared and rushed towards Wu Xian and the others as the Sand Corpse Summoner among them gave the order to counterattack. Zhou stretched out his right hand and aimed his palm at them at the back of the battlefield, just as they were about to engage in a chaotic battle. Green Bronze Tier Lord Talent. Insight Defection. Activate. Boom. An invisible wave instantly enveloped all the sand corpses and Sand Corpse Summoners. Some of the Sand Corpse Summoners froze. The expressions in their eyes changed for a few seconds. Then they decisively called back the Sand Corpse they had just sent out and attacked their Sand Corpse Summoners' companions beside them. Every time they killed a Sand Corpse Summoner, some sand corpses collapsed weakly on the desert on the battlefield. Then the gravel disintegrated, revealing the flesh and blood inside, as well as the mist core. The Sand Corpse Lord's side was in chaos coupled with the confusions caused by the Sand Corpse Summoner's internal strife. This is a good opportunity. Wu Xin's eyes lit up. He immediately led the army and used the hero skill, Golden Dragon Break, to smash the Sand Corpse army in front of him into pieces. Then, he slaughtered the Sand Corpse Summoners at the back of the battlefield. When these Sandcorp summoners who had not been incited by incite defection saw this, they never expected that the other party would break through the Sandcorps's line so easily and come to them. They could only recall the Sandcorpses to protect themselves while resisting the attacks of their former companions. On the battlefield, the chaotic Sandcorpses could not stop the Blazing Sun army at all. The scales of victory almost immediately tipped towards the Blazing Sun army. Zhou nodded slightly when he saw this scene. Whether it was the numerical advantage, the hero advantage, or the Lord Talent advantage, his side was far superior to the other party. To Bai Wuxian and the others, it was extremely easy to control the direction of the crowd control battle. Special hint: this equipment contains a portion of the fragments of the Emperor of Sand's Glory Scepter. Finding other fragments can reforge the Emperor of Sand's Glory Scepter. Legendary tier advanced grade. Zhou raised his eyebrows. Was there actually a fragment of the Emperor of Sand's Glory Scepter in this scepter? He flipped his right hand. A 3-meter-long golden scepter appeared in his hand. It was not that long ago that he obtained the Sandman scepter from the loots of the Sandman Lord. This scepter also contained some fragments of the Emperor of Sand's Glory Scepter. The two scepters seemed to sense something and suddenly vibrated when he took out the Sandman scepter. Zhou looked at this scene in surprise. Then, he saw that the two scepters suddenly moved on their own. Then the tops slowly moved and finally pointed to the south. This direction, it seems to be in the direction of the Sandstorm Forbidden Land and the Green Forest. Could it be telling me that the remaining fragments of the Emperor of Sand's Glory Scepter are in the Sandstorm Forbidden Land or Green Forest? Zhou was deep in thought. It would be fine if it was the Green Forest. That place could at least be reached if he were to take a detour. However, if it was the Sandstorm Forbidden Land, then it would be bad. That dangerous forbidden zone of natural disasters. Zhou was not confident that he could return safely even if he brought Nazario along. However, to be honest, he was quite tempted. The Emperor of Sand's Glory Scepter was a legendary tier advanced grade weapon. Moreover, it might even be related to the inheritance of the Emperor of Sand. If he could obtain the inheritance of the Emperor of Sand, this opportunity would not be inferior to obtaining a legendary tier Lord Talent, or even a mythical tier Lord Talent. He thought for a moment. Then he looked at the next loots. Item name: Sandcorp Summoner Class Change Certificate. Item level: Gradeless. Item effect: Intermediate Battle Class Change Tool. After using it, you can become an intermediate grade battle class, Sandcorp Summoner. You will also have a set of Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade Battle Class equipment, 5 years of Sandcorp Summoner class experience, and the initial strength of a Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade. Item description: Intermediate Grade Combat Class Certificate. Created by the fallen Emperor of Sand. It is an important part of the army under the Emperor of Sand. Zhou nodded slowly. Intermediate Grade Battle Class. This was the first time he had obtained a class change certificate of this level. Not bad. It was worth protecting. As for the final Green Bronze Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragment, and the Green Bronze Tier Scarlet Lord Talent Sphere, needless to say, he would use it when he got back. He wanted to see what kind of Green Bronze Tier Lord Talent it was. At this moment, Bai walked over. "My lord, I've found the territory token tablet," she said respectfully. "Take me there." Zhou said. "Yes, my lord, please follow me." Bai nodded. Then, the two of them walked in the direction of the territory stone tablet. Chapter 146: Regional Token of the Thorn Dune. Persuading them to surrender. Sandcorp's Lord's territory. In the Lord's courtyard. Zhou covered his nose and endured the stench of corpses in the room. He asked Bai to shatter the stone tablet in front of him. After Bai heard the order, she only used 5 firevine arrows to shatter the territory stone tablet, revealing the 2 tokens inside. One of them was a Green Bronze Tier Advanced Grade Territory token. The other token was the Regional Token of Thorn Dune. Zhou put away the territory token and looked at the regional token. A text notification appeared. Treasure name, regional token, region name, Thorn Dune changeable, regional grade, Black Iron Tier area. About 356 square kilometers, Treasure description. A regional token of Thorn Dune. A lord who possesses a regional token and integrates it to become a region lord of Thorn Dune and obtain an exclusive regional treasure chest. When I return, integrated into my territory stone tablet, I have 3 regional territories under my command. Zhou was very satisfied. Then he left with Bai Yi. He had just walked out. Zhou noticed that the sky had already darkened. He looked at the time on the World Channel. He realized that there were still more than 3 hours before the Scarlet Fog completely relocated. Let the soldiers quickly organize the loots here, and let's quickly occupy the last territory of the people of foreign races, Lord. Then we'll go back to Sand Gold City, Zhou said. Looking at it now, it would probably take quite some time to return to Blazing Sun City. He could only return to Sand Gold City to rest. However, he had to return to Blazing Sun City early tomorrow morning to prepare for the Myriad Races Lord battlefield. Yes, my lord, Bai Yi said respectfully. Then she immediately went to make arrangements. Soon, with the 10 Conquerors' blast furnaces going all out to retrieve the loots, all the loots of the Sand Corp summoners had been extracted in less than half an hour. Under the effect of the perfect loots, he obtained a total of 14,852 green bronze tier mist cores, 12,620 white silver tier mist cores, 714 yellow gold tier mist cores, 357 gradeless flesh preservation skill books, 357 Sand Corp staff, green bronze tier, white silver tier, yellow gold tier, 357 gradeless, Sand Corp summoner class change certificate. Other than that, Bai Yi also found a total of 420,000 units of 4 basic resources, 1,241 black iron tier mist cores, 251 white silver tier mist cores, and 12 normal blueprints in the territory. Zhou was quite satisfied with these gains. Regional lords were indeed regional lords. Each one of them was equivalent to 5 normal Scarlet Lords. Then he did not stop. He brought the soldiers to the last territory of the people of foreign races in Thorn Dune. Wuxia had specially activated the Furry Array to increase his speed. Everyone's speed increased greatly, and they arrived at their destination in less than 15 minutes. This was the territory of the Ox Demon clan. It was called Zealer City. According to Wu Tu's map, there were about 1,000 members of the Ox Demon clan living here. The leader of the Ox Demons, Tu, had the strength of a yellow gold tier intermediate grade. They were not lords summoned from other worlds, but local lords of the High Continent. It was said that their ancestors had made a deal with the demons in the abyss. It allowed them to obtain some demonic power. This made their combat strength quite good even among the orcs. These more than 1,000 Ox Demon clan members. Its combat power was comparable to more than 4,000 human military professionals of the same level. This level of combat strength, if they chose to attack forcefully, they would definitely suffer heavy losses. Hence, Zhou had already thought about it on the way here. He did not intend to storm this place. Instead, he wanted to see if he could replicate Thorn City's actions and make the other party surrender. After he had 9,000 soldiers surround this place, Zhou stood at the front of all the soldiers and looked up at the city wall of Zealer City. His eyesight was extremely good. Therefore he could see it clearly. On the city wall, an ox demon with soft golden fur, 2 horns on its head, and blood-red eyes was standing there looking at him. It was the boss of Zealer City, Tuesday. Who are you? What are you doing here? At this moment the ox demon boss looked at Zhou and said loudly. The other party spoke the common language of the High Continent. Hence Zhou could understand. Don't you see? I brought my army here to suppress you. Tu, come out and surrender. You saw it too. My men are out there. You can't escape, Zhou said. His voice was also transmitted to the ears of all the ox demons in the other party's territory through the enhancement of his spiritual power. Human Lord, I admit you have many soldiers, but our Zealer City is not weak either. And we're protected by our walls while you are facing the threat of the imminent Scarlet Fog. Are you sure you want to attack us? Besides, we have no grudges against each other. Why must you start a war against us? Tu said angrily. I just took down Thorn Dune not too long ago. Which means, you're the ones occupying my territory for survival. I came to attack and expel you for the sake of protecting my territory. That makes sense, doesn't it? Zhou said calmly. Atu was stunned. He has taken down Thorndune? Hesitation appeared on its face. In that case, they really seem to be occupying the other party's territory for survival. After a long silence, it said, "We've been living here for decades. This has become our homeland. Whatever you say, we'll never leave here. If you want to fight, let's fight." Atu was about to order the ox demons to prepare to defend against the other party's next attack. But at this moment Zhou started talking. "Atu, I know you have feelings for Zealer City and are unwilling to leave this place, but you can't beat us." Nazario flew down from the sky after he finished speaking. When the huge Nazario descended from the sky, Atu and the rest were stunned. Fear appeared in the eyes of some of the ox demons. Zhou could clearly feel the other party's fighting spirit instantly disintegrated when Nazario released his dragon might. Atu also saw fear in its subject. It wanted to say something encouraging, but it found itself at a loss for words. Therefore, a deep sense of helplessness rose in its heart in front of this incomparably pure-blooded dragon, even if it was the strongest amongst them. It did not even have the confidence to deal with this pure-blooded dragon. What about the other subjects? At this moment, the human lord's voice came from outside. "Atu, I can give you a choice. As long as you are willing to give up your status as a lord and bring your ox demon subjects to join my blazing sun city, becoming my subjects, I can stop waging war on your territory, let you continue to live here in peace. But I have to remind you, once you become my subjects, you will have to call yourselves my subjects in the future. You'll have no right to refuse when I need you to work for me or fight for me. Of course, I won't let you work for nothing or be a suicide squad on the battlefield. You and my other subjects will have the salary and military merits that you deserve. Are you willing to accept this condition?" Zhou asked. Chapter 147 Surrender. The ancestral statue of the human race on Cerulean planet. A few seconds later. "So you're the famous lord recently. No wonder, I, Atu, have heard a lot about you." Atu's voice sounded. There seemed to be a sense of relief in its voice. "My lord, please wait a moment," Atu said. "Okay." Zhou noticed the change in the way the other party addressed him and immediately nodded slightly. It seemed that Nazario and the nearly 9,000 military professionals were indeed very intimidating. In the future, he could use this to avoid many unnecessary wars. He could just get into position and scare the other party. In any case, they could win by using force. Why did they have to fight head-on? A moment later, the gates of Zealer City opened. Atu walked out with more than 1,000 tall ox demons and stopped 30 to 40 meters away from Zhou. Atu stared at Zhou and slowly knelt on one knee. "I, the city lord of Zealer City, ox demon boss, Atu, am willing to give up my status as a lord and bring the 1,256 ox demon subjects of Zealer City to join you and become your subject," Atu said in a deep voice. "Ox demon boss. Atu leads 1,256 ox demons and requests to join your territory and become your subject. Do you agree?" "Agreed," Zhou thought to himself. The next second. Prompt. 1,257 ox demons have become your subject. Lord Talent hint. Peace and prosperity is taking effect. The loyalty of the subjects is increasing. Lord Talent notification. Loyalty of 1,257 ox demons has increased to 71 points. Zhou smiled. Why did he let the other party off with such a simple condition? Firstly, it was because the scarlet fog was about to descend. He did not intend to waste time here and wanted to conquer this place as quickly as possible. Secondly, it was because he had the Diamond Tier Lord Talent, Peace and Prosperity. As long as the other party dared to join his territory and become his subject, then, regardless of whether the other party had any ulterior motives before joining, they would not be able to harbor such thoughts as long as they became his subject. There was no way they could escape. From now on we're family. Zhou walked over with a smile and extended his right hand to Atu's day. Atu was stunned for a moment before hurriedly reaching out to shake hands with its lord. "Please take care of me in the future, my lord." Atu said respectfully. Sure, sure. Zhou acknowledged. Then he looked at the items he could steal. Then he suddenly froze. Do you have food and accommodation? Atu asked shamelessly. Zhou was speechless. Don't worry. Not just food and accommodation. Those who are willing to go will even be given mist core as a salary, Zhou said. These ox demons were huge and strong. They were the best choice to mine iron ore. There was no need to fight with them. He did not lack soldiers now. The ox demon's boss was overjoyed. It was very strong physically, but its governance on its territory was not strong. In addition, the place they were staying in was a resource-poor place like Thorn Dune. Therefore, it and its ox demon subject were very poor. Usually, it was the one who brought the subjects to Fish Springtown to do odd jobs and some hard work to barely survive. Someone had once valued their strength and wanted to hire them as their fighters. However, its subjects rejected it without hesitation. The reason why they ran to such a desolate place to build a city and settle down was to stay away from the war, avoid it, and live a stable life without worrying about losing their lives. How could they agree to such an employment? As a result, they had a hard time even though they were very strong. Atu suddenly felt that it was not bad to be a subject under the Lord. At least there was a fixed work scope they could do. Oh yes, your subjects can work in many iron mines. But don't go there if you're so strong. From now on you'll fight alongside me, Zhou said. He was not interested in the normal ox demons. However, he would not let go of such a yellow gold tier intermediate grade fighter. Yes, my lord. Atu's face stiffened. Then it forced a smile and agreed. Zhou ignored its expression. After that, he gave Atu a map of the surrounding area and told him the location of Blazing Sun City. Then, he did not stay any longer and led the army back to Sand Gold City, seeing that it was getting late. Chapter 148 New Lord Talent. War God's Blessing. After Zhou brought his men back to Sand Gold City, the sky was already completely dark. Scarlet fog gradually covered the entire world. After Zhou returned, he asked Bai Yi and the others to bring the army to Sand Gold City to rest for the night. They would immediately rush back to Blazing Sun City before 4 o'clock the next morning. Bai Yi and the others immediately accepted the order. Zhou did not waste any time. He used return to the city and returned to Blazing Sun City. In the Blazing Sun City, in the living room of the Lord's residence, Zhou appeared out of thin air. He felt his body, spirit, and energy rapidly recovering and couldn't help but nod slightly. Originally, he was already a little tired after running around all day. Now he felt like he had returned to his peak. Then, Zhou came to the territory stone tablet and took out the regional token of Thorn Dune, placing it directly above the stone tablet. A suction force came from the territory stone tablet and sucked this regional token into the stone tablet. The next second, rows of golden text appeared in front of him. Congratulations on obtaining a Black Iron Tier regional token, Thorn Dune. You have officially become the regional lord of this region. Thorn Dune Black Iron Tier has been added to your regional territory. You have obtained a regional treasure chest. Exclusive to Thorn Dune. Zhou opened his regional territory column. Regional territory, Blazing Sun Desert, Black Iron Tier. Sand Gold Land Black Iron Tier. Thorn Dune Black Iron Tier. He nodded, satisfied. Then Zhou opened the regional treasure chest. Inside was a familiar yellow package. Item name, Thorn Dune Exclusive Resource Pack. Item level, Black Iron Tier. Item effect. After opening it, you can obtain 50,000 units of stone, 50,000 units of wood, 50,000 units of metal, 50,000 units of fine sand, 100 gradeless, Sand Corp Summoner Class Change Certificate. Item description. Black Iron Tier Area Exclusive Resource Pack. After opening it, you can obtain a large number of basic resources and some area exclusive resources. That's it. Zhou was a little disappointed. Wasn't this the same thing as the regional treasure chest in the Blazing Sun Desert? The sand crystal had just become the Sand Corp Summoner Class Change Certificate. He shook his head. It seemed that something as good as the golem lair was just a special situation. After using it, He took out the green bronze tier Scarlet Lord Talent sphere. Let's see what this green bronze tier Lord Talent is. Zhou was really looking forward to it. He looked over. A text notification appeared. Do you want to purify it? Yes, Zhou said. The next second, a golden light flashed on the Scarlet Lord Talent sphere. Then its message changed. Treasure name, Lord Talent Sphere, Blessing of the 10 Gods, Blessing of the War God Treasure Grade, Green Bronze Tier, Treasure Effect. After absorbing it, the Lord will have the Green Bronze Tier Lord Talent, Blessing of the 10 Gods, Blessing of the War God. Treasure Description. A Lord Talent Sphere purified by the Supreme Resistance. After absorbing it, you can obtain a Green Bronze Tier Lord Talent. Blessing of the 10 Gods? I think I've heard of this talent from other lords. Zhou raised his eyebrows. However, the blessing of the 10 gods he had heard of was not the blessing of the war god, but the blessing of wisdom, creation, and life. Furthermore, different lords had different levels of blessings. He was at the green bronze tier. The highest level he had heard of was the blessing of the diamond tier creation god. It was said that it could greatly increase the breakthrough speed of lifestyle professionals and had a certain chance of developing new life profession items. The other party seemed to have joined the military-industrial alliance and was a big shot there. Zhou was deep in thought. Since it was the blessing of the 10 gods, there were probably 6 of such gods left. However, he did not know who those 6 were. Then Zhou stopped thinking and chose to absorb it. The next second, this green bronze tier Lord Talent sphere immediately turned into countless bronze-colored light spots and surged into his glabella. Zhou closed his eyes. A moment later, he reopened his eyes again after some time. Then, he immediately opened his Lord's personal information. His Lord Talent column had been updated again. Lord Talent, 100% drop rate, Mythical tier, Unique, Gnome Alchemy Workshop, Monster Ranch, White Silver tier, Insight Defection, Peace and Prosperity, Diamond tier, Return to the City, Black Iron tier, Mysterious Caravan, Yellow Gold tier, Master Thief's Robbery Gloves, Legendary tier, Blessing of the 10 Gods, Blessing of the War God, my 9th Lord Talent. Zhou nodded in satisfaction. Then, he immediately opened the details of the talent. Lord Talent, Blessing of the 10 Gods, Blessing of the War God, Blessing of the 10 Gods, Blessing of the War God. The War God, one of the 10 chief gods under the Supreme Will, has blessed you and your military professionals. You and your military professionals will receive an additional 200% promotion energy after killing the enemy. Zhou's eyes widened. This was a green bronze tier Lord Talent. Obtaining an additional 200% promotion energy, didn't that mean that the benefits of the promotion energy in a battle would directly triple? This could be said to have directly increased the strength of him and his soldier types by 300%. To the lords of the high continents, any external means were naturally not as important as strength. In Zhou's eyes, the blessings of the war god were much more practical than the blessings of other gods. Good Lord Talent. In the future, I need to upgrade the Lord Talent crystal fragment to Insight Defection. I'll just upgrade it. Zhou immediately made a decision. Compared to Insight Defection, he still preferred the blessings of the war god that could increase his strength. He looked at the Lord Talent crystal fragment he had. After obtaining a TUS Lord Talent crystal fragment not long ago, he now had a total of 74 Black Iron tier Lord Talent crystal fragments, 53 Green Bronze tier Lord Talent crystal fragments, 3 Yellow Gold tier Lord Talent crystal fragments, 2 Legendary tier Lord Talent crystal fragments. I still need 47 Green Bronze tier Lord Talent crystal fragments or 5 White Silver tier Lord Talent crystal fragments. Zhou was deep in thought. This request was not difficult to achieve. Now he was attacking the Scarlet Lord's territory faster and faster. At his speed. In just a few days, he would probably be able to gather them after attacking a few more ownerless Black Iron tier regional territories. At this thought he stopped thinking about it. Then, he walked out of the Lord's residence to find Zhao Changshu and ask him where the Imperial Ancestral Temple was. However, just as he walked out of the door, a woman's voice came from behind him. Are you the Lord of the Blazing Sun? Zhou was stunned. He turned to look. He saw a tall woman in a wholly white gorgeous dress. She had a pretty face and a resplendent white crystal at her glabella, and was standing not far away and looking at him. Beside her was a maid in white. She bowed slightly to him and looked up at him curiously. "And you are?" Zhou was a little surprised. "I am the princess of the Aurora Kingdom. My name is Leah. I'm here to pay my respects to the Lord of the Blazing Sun. I came with my father's greetings," she said politely. "Welcome, welcome. I'm sorry. I've been busy the entire day today and have just returned," Zhou said. "As a lord chosen by the supreme will, it's natural for you to be busy every day. Please don't feel embarrassed about this." Leah looked at Zhou in agreement. Zhou was stunned for a moment before he laughed. "It's cold outside. Let's enter the residence first if you don't mind," he said. Leah nodded. Zhou brought the two of them back to his lord's residence again, and sat down in the hall. After chatting for a while, Leah took out a contract. "Father heard that the Lord of the Blazing Sun is very interested in our kingdom's Aurora Crystal. That's why my father specifically asked me to bring this Aurora Crystal transaction contract and give it to the Lord. With this contract, my lord can purchase Aurora crystals of yellow gold tier and lower from any yellow gold tier or above regional territories in the Aurora Kingdom." After she finished speaking, in order to avoid Zhou's misunderstanding, she explained apologetically, "It's not that my father is stingy and doesn't want to sell Aurora Kingdom crystals of yellow gold tier and above. Your lordship also knows that in our high continent, the probability of extracting items after a life form dies is extremely small. Normally speaking, only the mist cores can be extracted. Most of the other items won't be extracted. It's the same for the Aurora crystals. In addition, our Aurora Kingdom can only build a white platinum tier advanced grade Aurora Kingdom tower at most. Therefore, even for our Aurora Kingdom, white platinum tier Aurora crystals are already considered extremely top-notch and rare resources. We still have to use these to deal with the Taiyan Kingdom, so it's not convenient for us to sell white platinum tier Aurora crystals to the Lord," Zhou acknowledged. He remembered that the drop rate of Aurora crystals was 10%, which meant only 1 in every 10 Aurora race of white platinum tier would drop a white platinum tier Aurora Kingdom crystal after they pass on. The Aurora Kingdom had to rely on these white platinum tier Aurora crystals to build the Aurora Kingdom Tower to defend the entire Aurora Kingdom. The consumption of Aurora crystals was unimaginable. Therefore, he did not feel that there was anything wrong with them cherishing the white platinum tier Aurora crystal so much. "Your Highness, you don't have to do this. The drop rate of Aurora crystals is indeed low. If the Aurora Kingdom needs Aurora crystals in the future, you can look for me. Perhaps I can help," Zhou said. However, was the white platinum tier Aurora Kingdom's drop rate low in front of his King of Loots? He could directly extract diamond tier Aurora Kingdom crystals for the other party, let alone white platinum tier Aurora Kingdom crystals. When Leah heard Zhou's words, she looked at him blankly. "You can help? But aren't you the one who needs the authority to trade Aurora crystals?" Zhou faced the doubt in her eyes with a mysterious smile. Actually, under normal circumstances, he would not say that he would take the initiative to help. However, this princess came with good intentions. Her attitude and etiquette made Zhou feel very comfortable. "Give me a peach and I give you a white jade for friendship." Zhou would naturally repay her kindness. Even though Leah did not know what Zhou meant by help, she could hear the good intentions in his words. This made her smile. "In addition to the transaction of the Aurora crystals, my father also promised my lord that he could make a request. He'll grant it as long as it's within his power," Leah said. "This is His Majesty's kindness. I need time to think." Zhou thought for a while and did not expect to make any requests. "Okay. I'll stay in my lord's territory for 3 days. You can tell me when you have thought it through," Leah said. Zhou acknowledged. Then, the two of them chatted happily for a while before Leah left with the maid on the pretext that it was inconvenient to disturb them in the middle of the night. Zhou sent her out of the residence and went to look for Zhao Changshu himself. You're tuning into the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference. as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.